Penn State game. It's a lovely afternoon here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Normally this game in the past several years has been played on Thanksgiving weekend when the weather both in Pittsburgh and State College has been bitterly cold, with one memorable exception. That was back in 1979 when the game at Beaver Stadium was played in unseasonable conditions. Well, that's what we have here at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this afternoon. It's unseasonably warm. As a matter of fact, as the two teams came onto the field to warm up, the sun even broke through. It's a windy day. The temperature in the low 50s, expected to reach about 58 before the game is over. The wind is from right to left, which is not normal here at Pitt Stadium. It's a southerly breeze at about 10 miles per hour. I'm Bill Hillgrove, along with former Pitt All-America linebacker Sal Sinceri. Sal is a player, and as a volunteer coach, you've been involved in this game. It is certainly one of the special college football rivalry contests.
You know, just to show you how special this game is today, the good Lord gave us some sunlight today, Billy. We're not used to that. It's a big game. It's a rivalry. Now, what can you say about Pitt-Penn State?
In previous years, and the officials this afternoon working this ball game are from the Collegiate Independents: William McDonald, the referee; Ronald Abdow, the umpire; Earl Birdie, the linesman; the line judge Gerald Height; the field judge James Klingensmith; the back judge Joseph DiRenzo; and the clock operator, as assigned by the Collegiate Independents, is John Joyce. Dan Martino operating the game clock, the play clock, which is the 25-second clock. Sal, normally in the past, under Johnny Majors and under Jackie Sherrill, Pitt had more team speed, and so therefore a good weather day would favor the Panthers. But in recent years, especially with the likes of the Kenny Jacksons and the Kurt Warners and now the DJ Doziers and the John Williams, Penn State seems to have that extra advantage in speed, probably a superior check mark as compared to the Pitt skilled people.
Like you said, Billy, Penn State has the skilled people. Kenny Jackson, DJ Dozier, Kevin Bow, you go through their list, they have the speed. You know, but for Pitt's side, we don't slack too much in anything. You look at Billy Wallace, he has some speed. Troy Hill has some speed. Tommy Flynn. So I think it's going to be an even football game.
It had rained during the night, and that has not affected the surface here. Penn State has won the toss. Penn State wants the football. Pitt will kick it right to left, as you see, and we're ready for the big one. People, remember what you do in November. These two teams are peaking. They're getting better each week, and this is it, the culmination of the regular season. And after today's game, it is expected that Penn State will receive its official invitation to the Aloha Bowl on December 26th at Honolulu, Hawaii. And the Panthers also headed for a warm weather climate. They're going to go to Phoenix and Tempe, Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl, which is their third trip there. They made their first one in 1973, again in 79, and now they'll be going at the end of 83 on January 2nd to play the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game. So, it's a big one. I think, Sal, in my opinion, the key to this game is not so much how Pitt's defense does against Penn State, because Penn State, I know, is going to put points on the scoreboard. I think one of the keys will be how Pitt can move the ball against Penn State's defense. A defense that has given up over 25 points a game, over 400 yards a game. So if the Panthers can move the ball consistently and rest their defense, I think they can win this game, and that's why they've been installed as a slight favorite.
Billy, I really feel it's hard to predict that, you know, what's going to go happen, because in this game, both coaching staffs pay so many hours watching so much film. They get everything down to the T. They know what every player's wearing. You know, it's just so much excitement. You never know what's going to happen.
I remember 1975. Joe Paterno and his staff studied the films and got the Panthers center with a little hitch in his getaway and timed his snap, and as a result blocked an extra point and a field goal. And of course, Penn State won that contest 7-6. Penn State under Joe Paterno has won 14 of the 17 contests played against the Panthers, but 3 of the Panthers' wins, all 3 have come in the last 7 games. Pat Viancourt will kick it off for Pitt. He is the freshman walk-on from Parma Heights, Ohio, and Pat is a left-footed sidewinder, a soccer-style kicker. As the ball falls off the tee, he'll replace it. Kevin Bow, a very dangerous deep man, is to the far side, to the left side, and John Williams, also with great speed, will be the Penn State kick return man from the right side. Pat Viancourt, the hero of the Syracuse game for Pitt, as he kicked a field goal with 7 seconds left to give Pitt a victory, 13-10. We're ready for the Pitt-Penn State game, and as Viancourt approaches, it's underway, and it's a knuckleball. It is Bow, behind the wedge. Looking to pop it, gets a good return out to about the 25-yard line. As the Panthers surround the football and unpile. The defensive charge led downfield by freshman linebacker Steve Apke. Doug Strang is the starter for Penn State at quarterback. The sensational freshman DJ Dozier is the tailback. John Williams the fullback. The flanker, the dangerous Kenny Jackson. Split end to the other side, Kevin Bow. Dean DiMedio, the very fine tight end. There's the offensive line, and the convert there is Todd Bowles, who started this year as a defensive tackle. Penn State with a 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line to start this game. Strang with play action. Wide open to Video. First down for Penn State, out to the 40 and beyond. The Panthers finally knock him out of bounds. DeVidio pulled it in wide open and was tackled by cornerback Melvin Dean. But Penn State on the first play moves the football for an immediate first down.
Billy, they bring their tight end across. Our backside linebacker does not pick him up. Doug Strang makes a nice throw. The Penn State's tight end made a heck of a play.
20-yard gain to the 45-yard line for Dean DeVidio. Big tight end. DeVidio is from Westchester, Pennsylvania, at 6'3", 211, a sophomore. 20-yard gain on the pass play. Strang to DeVidio. Motion from Jackson. On 1st and 10. That is Dozier, and he is clogged up as he tries the middle. He gets about 1 yard before Bill Moss hit him. Moss, the sensational right tackle for Pitt at 6'4", 265, help from the Panthers' leading tackler, Troy Benson.
That's what Pitt's going to have to do today, Billy. They have to close down DJ Dozier's running lanes. If they can do that, they can contain him. But now you have to look for Doug Strang. You can see on the first play they're coming out throwing the ball, so we have to be careful of that. 2nd down, 9. Penn State opening possession, no score. And the Lions at their own 46-yard line. Strang, a junior from Linwood, New Jersey. Bow to one side, Jackson to the other. They go with play action. Strang with plenty of time, and Williams can't hold on. Williams had gotten open as a safety valve, but just had trouble pulling 2 hands around the football and pulling it in. He was, I think, thinking about a hit or thinking about a running lane to turn it upfield. There we talk about the intensity of the Pitt-Penn State game. Jonathan Williams, who has fine hands all year, gets the ball. He's a little nervous, waiting for that big stick to come. 3rd down and 9. Penn State at its own 46-yard line. No score. We've played 56 seconds of football here in this arch rivalry. Penn State dominating the all-time series, 41 victories to 38. There have been 3 times. On 3rd and long, Strang, Moss, and he ducks it. And again, the Panthers knock him down. Moss had him from one side, and Bob Shilkin, the sophomore nose guard, had him from the other, with help from Tim Quince. And down went Strang on the sack, a loss back to the 36-yard line. George Reynolds and the punt team on. As you saw Moss coming from the bottom of your screen, he goes over top, and now the intensity's there. He comes back, makes a play with Bob Shilkin. 3rd down's a big down for both teams. 4th and 19, and Reynolds is the punter with Stillman on the long snap. Reynolds is punted for an average of over 42 yards, hangs a high one. Wallace awaiting. Runs right into his own blocker and the tackler, and it's a short return out to the Panther 28-yard line. The Penn State tackle downfield made by the man who snapped the ball, Mike Stillman. 40-yard punt for Reynolds. No score, just underway, and there's the Panther backfield. Kajemi the quarterback, McCall the tailback. Mark Bailey will be the starting fullback and alternate with Marlon McIntyre. Stennett and Wallace are the wideouts, Wilson the tight end. And up front, that line is led by all-everything Bill Fraley. The Panthers with a 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. No score, just underway. Kajemi, the sophomore. And open is Stennett on the near sideline, and he picks up a 1st down to the 39-yard line. Billy, Sidnor was the cornerback, and Stennett pulled it in and beat him on the coverage. Billy, they were playing a zone there, and Matt Stennett just ran a nice takeoff. They're playing a gap defense up front, playing zone behind it. There's the Penn State defensive line. White, Carher, Gattuso, the youngster from St. LaSalle, and Sefner. The backers, Conlon, Radisic, Antonio, and Hamilton. The secondary, Sidnor, Fruhan, and Zordich at Youngstown. Kajemi to the audible, 1st and 10 at his own 39-yard line. Only getting 40 on the scoreboard, so that previous game was a 12-yard. And here's Wallace again for another 1st down, pulling in a Kajemi aerial. Hit by Radisic immediately, but the Panthers have opened Penn State up right away with 2 consecutive tosses for 1st down pickups. Watch John Kajemi here. As he looks out, he sees a zone. He throws the ball right into Billy Wallace. He splits the zone. That's what that's what Pitt's going to have to do to win this football game. Ball at the Penn State 46-yard line. 2 consecutive Kajemi to Wallace throws. Rogers Alexander now in at outside linebacker for Penn State. That was a 14-yard pickup. Was preceded by a 12-yard gain. And Kajemi play action. Plenty of time. Now wants to run. Gets the block outside and loses a handle on the football. It goes out of bounds for the Panthers, and it'll be a very short gain into the Penn State 44-yard line. A marker is down.
Referee William McDonald of the Collegiate Independents. Illegal motion is the call against the Panthers.
What happens here is Jimmy drops back. They're rushing 4 people and dropping 7. Nothing's open, so John takes the ball down, runs outside, and puts a move on. Just as he's ready to get outside, there's the block. He fumbles the ball.
The original line of scrimmage was the 46, so the mark off of 5 yards brings it back to the Panther 49-yard line. And there's the official call from Bill McDonald, the referee.
Billy, it's very important that Pitt doesn't have that first down penalties, because that sets them back starting at 1st and 15. And this game's too important for that to happen.
Ball near midfield. Out to the wide side, the Panthers deploy 2 receivers. And in the slot is Joe McCall. Single setback offense for the Panthers. Penn State starting its line. In the middle, not much running room for Mark Bailey. The Lions have him surrounded. Gattuso, Kerher, Radisic, Massi-Antonio. Radisic from Brentwood, Massi-Antonio from the Pittsburgh area also, Jeanette High School. And there was very little running room for Mark Bailey behind the Panther wall of Sweeney, Pettyjohn, Christie, Freilich, and Brown.
Penn State made a fine adjustment there, Billy, brought both inside linebackers.
Second down, we'll call it 14 from the 50-yard line. No score, first quarter. Bill Hillgrove and Sal Sinceri bringing the action your way. Pitt Stadium and its jam-packed 60,000. Kajemi to Collins, and Collins has the first down at the Penn State 32-yard line.
Right then and there, they brought their middle line. They bring their middle linebacker upfield. That leaves the zone open. Dwight Collins reads the defense really well. They're playing 2 deep back there, 2 safeties. Kajemi throws the ball. Collins splits both defensive backs and makes a fine catch.
Collins came into this game needing 1 touchdown reception to break a Pitt record, needing 58 yards to break another. 1st and 10 at the 32 after the 18-yard pickup. McCall on the pitch back. And he's tackled by Scott Radisic, who did a good job of fighting out the blocker and holding him to a fairly short gain. Tony Brown threw the block out there for McCall as the Panthers went from the 32 inside the 30 to the 28-yard line to pick up a 4 at 2nd down and 6.
Penn State has a fine linebacker in that Radisic. He's rated as a top-round draft pick, and you can see right there, he has all the intangibles.
Panthers deploy the I formation. Collins is their flanker left, split end to the short side is Bill Wallace. Kajemi to the audible on 2nd down and 6 for the Penn State 28. Kajemi, flare pass. That's McCall. Break 1 tackle, and he breaks another and gets to the 15-yard line for another Pitt first down. Fruhan, the Penn State cornerback, finally brought him down.
Penn State was playing a man there. McCall came out of the backfield on a little flare pass. The linebacker's a little late getting out there. Let's watch it here. As Kajemi drops back, he sees they're in the man. The most important thing is to throw the ball off. He throws the ball to Joe McCall. Joe McCall goes upfield, puts a little move on 2 players.
Penn State player almost blocked that. I didn't see the number on the player getting the hand up in the air, but it was almost batted down.
That's a fine run by Joe McCall.
And here comes live action with the tailback, and McCall again a couple of yards in across the 15 to about the 11, where redshirt defensive end Bob White of Freeport High School makes the tackle.
It seems to me that our line is coming off the football. Penn State's trying to slide some defenses back and forth, making Pitt guess on what front they're going to be in.
Call picks up 4. That sets up a 2nd down, 6 from the 11. Sweeney, Pettyjohn, Christie up front. Kajemi steps in under center Sweeney. Panthers going with split backs this time. Kajemi on the roll, got the block. Now scrambles out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. I don't think he gained anything at all. It was Harry Hamilton, the hero backer, who is a part-time defensive back and a part-time linebacker. That's why they call him the hero backer. He's a strong safety, but he does a lot more than that. That'll set up 3rd down. As
Kajemi drops back to pass, it's a rollout weak side. He comes upfield, there's no one on. You have to give credit to Penn State's defense. They're disciplined ball players. Kajemi takes the ball down and goes.
They give him no gain on the play. It's 3rd down and a short 6 from the 11-yard line. No score. First quarter, 9:49 left. Kajemi again to the audible. Kajemi for the corner. Collins is there, and it goes off his fingertips, incomplete. Chris Sidnor had the coverage in the corner of the end zone. Kangemi put the ball over Sidnor, but Collins couldn't hold on, and it's 4th down, and the Panther field goal team is on. I want to say Mark Schubert. It's Eric Schubert, back after being injured in the Syracuse game, and he'll be trying a 27-yard effort, angle left to right. The holder is Kangemi. Schubert on the season, 7 of 10, until being injured in the Syracuse game a couple of weeks ago. Made a miraculous recovery. Is wearing a brace on his kicking leg. The kick is up and good. 27-yard field goal by Eric Schubert, and the Panthers break the ice and lead it 3-0. There's a timeout in the first quarter action with the score. Pitt 3 and Penn State nothing. The Panthers move it downfield for the field goal.
The Premier Society of Western Pennsylvania invite all Panther fans to come to the field house after today's game. Of the traffic clear out, it is a preview of Lloyd Chipman's Pitt basketball squad and its last preseason blue and gold inter-squad game. The scrimmage will begin approximately 20 minutes after the conclusion of this football game. Why not come on up to the field house, relax, and get your first glimpse of this talented and very exciting squad. Admission is free. Reservations, South Bank, Bohemia, number 1 killer, small enough, close sports welcome. This blue gold inter-squad basketball game immediately following today's football contest at the field house. Everybody is welcome. Be there!
The Panthers lead the Lions 3-0 as Pitt drives it 61 yards in 9 plays officially. The 27-yard field goal by Schubert, his 8th in 11 tries this year. Pitt is on the board at 9:45 first quarter. In that drive, Kangemi completed 4 of 5 passes for 59 yards, and the 5th pass, I should say, the one he did not complete was the one that Collins couldn't hold on to in the end zone as Collins was falling backwards trying to get a track on the ball.
Kangemi did a fine job there. He was poised, took the short pattern instead of going for the long bomb, and that just shows you that Pitt's going to be very patient today.
John Williams and Kevin Bow back to return the kickoff by left footer Pat Viancourt, his 2nd of the game. The Panthers leading it 3-0. Viancourt, the freshman walk-on. Hang time on this one. Bow at the 1. Cuts it back. Good move. Open field. Nope. He loses his footing at the 25-yard line and is down at the 26. Covered there by Bill McCormick. Almost a big return for Kevin Bow. They're going to call him down at the 25-yard line.
There was a hole open on the left side. Pitt's going to have to come down and check that out.
There's the scoring drive, which was capped by Schubert's field goal of 27 yards, and the Panthers lead it 3-0. Let's see what the Lion offense can do now. Quarterback Doug Strang, junior from Linwood, New Jersey. 17 touchdown passes on the season and only 7 interceptions suffered. And that is a great ratio. And stayed out of the eye. Bow to one side, Jackson to the other. Strang wants somebody to the sideline, but it's overthrown for Bow at the 50-yard line. Bow had gotten around Tom Flynn, the Panther free safety, but Strang's pass was off the mark, incomplete, and it stops the clock at 9:34 first quarter. The Panthers leading 3-0.
Billy, that was the same play they ran the first time they had the ball. They brought their tight end underneath. They brought Kevin Bow upfield, and they're high-lowing both on Melvin Dean and making Tommy Flynn come back.
Explain the high-low technique.
They put a receiver underneath you and a receiver behind you.
Makes it pretty tough. Single setback now. They've got receivers everywhere. They call it trips on 2nd down. And that is Williams, the fullback, and he is stacked up for short yardage as he gets out to about the 27-yard line, where he runs into the waiting arms of Bill Moss. The Panthers 6'4", 265-pound senior from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. It certainly is very much in Penn State country. There's a Panther vaunted defensive line. Wenglakowski and Dolman the ends, Bukowski and Moss the tackle, Dennis Attia and Bob Shilkin alternate as the middle guard. A Penn State player is injured, and that is Stan Short, who was injured in the Notre Dame game and apparently has suffered a recurrence. There's a Panthers secondary, Callahan, Hill, Dean, and Flynn. Short, the 6'4", 258-pound junior from Fort Hood, Texas, was helped off the field against Notre Dame in much the same manner.
you know, that just shows what type of character that young man has. He was hurt last week, and, you know, this football game, so much that young man that he was coming out here no matter what.
Well, Dwight Collins has made it out no matter what for the Panthers, Eric Schubert's, but unfortunately for the Panthers, it's Ray Weatherspoon, a very frustrated young man, in street clothes on the sideline, not able to participate, and he, of course, a transfer from Penn State, wanted very badly to play. 3rd down, 8. Penn State from its own 27, trailing 3-0. They go to single setback. Dozier's as a wingback. Strang to DeMedio, and he holds on with a great catch at the Pitt 48 for a first down. DeMedio getting underneath the coverage, took a heck of a hit from Tom Flynn, but held on to the football on a great play.
As Strang drops back the pass, we're in a zone defense. He throws the ball up, and DeMedio, a fine tight end, goes up for the football. Watch Tommy Flynn tries the football, strip the football, but there's nowhere to run. DeMedio's just a fine athlete. He won the game, a few games for them this year. As we go back again, Strang again throws the ball up. DeMedio goes up after it. Fine catch.
25-yard pickup and a first down in Pitt territory. Strang is 2 for 4 for 44 yards. And there's movement on the left side. Left tackle Ed Boone, the freshman from Cleveland, Ohio, who's in there in place of Stan Short. May have been the man to move ahead of the snap. There was no snap. There was just movement. And this will be a penalty against the Lions. They're going to call it offsides.
Billy, don't be surprised if you see Penn State coming out with one back set. What I mean by with one guy in the backfield putting Dozier up on the flanker. That's going to give him 4 receivers out.
Dean DeMedio from Westchester, Pennsylvania. And he has done an outstanding job for Penn State this year. Still first down. It's 1st and 15 now for Penn State, and they're back at their own 47-yard line. Dean DeMedio on the season with an outstanding effort of grabbing, well, that's his 19th catch. He's averaging well over 18 yards a catch, and that is a great figure and a great yards per reception average for a tight end. First down and 15. Dozier through the middle. And he is stacked up as he gets to about the Penn State 48-yard line, and that's all.
Billy, there was a crease on the outside there. If Dozier would have stayed outside, he might have had some running room. Pitt has to be careful of coming inside that fast because Dozier has the speed to get outside.
Picked up a yard, that's all. They'll spot the football at, well, they picked up 2 yards. We'll call it the 49-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 13. Penn State at its own 49 and trailing in this contest about midway through the first quarter. 3-0 Pitt on a Schubert 27-yard field goal. Penn State with 2 receivers to the wide side, out of the eye. Strang rolls to the wide side. And he slips and falls as he tries to turn it upfield. That's the 2nd time a Penn State player has lost his footing. Caesar Aldersert covered up Strang as he lost his footing at the Penn State 40. Well, they call it the 47-yard line, a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 15.
Smart move on Pitt's coaching staff. Instead of bringing Alan Winkowski, who's rushing all the time, they dropped him off. They brought the backside and Chris Dolman. So that leads another guy out there to defend the pass. And then they bring Caesar Aldersert from the outside.
Dennis Attia is at nose guard now for the Panthers. He'll alternate there with Shilkin. Penn State with a 3rd and 15 at its own 47. Bow to one side, Jackson to the other. Strang, Moss. And there is a penalty marker down. There are 2 penalty markers down. That may indicate a face mask.
Billy Moss, who's been a fine player for us all year, came strong inside. Strang rolls out. He reaches to grab anything. Everyone's taught to do this. You know, I'm sure he didn't mean to do it. He grabbed the face mask and took Strang down.
It's only a 5-yard penalty. Referee Bill McDonald indicates face mask.
Run defense, 3rd down, over.
Watch Moss.
And the down will be replayed. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Right there. Billy was just trying to grab him. He caught his face mask. That's the intensity going. You can't blame a young man. They're taught to just grab anything they can.
2nd penalty on this drive. Penn State was hit with an offsides penalty. Now the Panthers with a 5-yard mask. It's 3rd down and 10. Penn State at the Pitt 48. Motion by Jackson. Strang. Hit. Tries to throw it left-handed, and it's incomplete. What an effort by Strang to get rid of the football.
Yeah, Strang did a heck of a job there with getting away from the sack, but look at Pitt's defensive line. They're coming off the football. Billy Moss and Penn State, I think, is going to have to go back to that single back set.
The intended receiver was John Williams, who almost pulled it in. It would not have been a first down. And it's punt formation for the Lions and George Reynolds, the senior punter. Awaits Stillman's snap. Bill Wallace is a Panther lone return man. And this is a boomer by Reynolds. It's going to hit inside the pit 5 and take a real good Penn State bounce. And it comes to the goal line, but it gets into the end zone. Automatic touchback. The Lions failed to keep it out of the end zone. What a punt by Reynolds.
That young man right there, when he comes off the sideline, to be taught by Coach Paterno to put his heels on the end zone line so the ball does not roll in.
Panthers lead it 3-0. We'll take a break here in the first quarter. Pitt will have the ball when we come back. On first down, the Panthers have a problem with the snap. Kenjemi loses the handle, and Scott Radisick recovers for Penn State. The Lions have it 1st and 10 at the Pitt 20-yard line. The Lions trailing 3-0, 6:03 left of the first quarter of play. A big break for Penn State. I want to remind you that the announcers on this telecast are contracted and paid for by Total Communication Systems. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or any other use of the accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of Total Communication Systems is prohibited. Penn State with a big play for Scott Radisick, who has played exceedingly well for the Lions all year. The youngster from Brentwood alertly falling on the loose football, and here come the Lions at the Pitt 20-yard line. Jackson to the left, Bow to the right. Split backs this time behind Strang. Dozier trying the outside, and a great defensive play for a tackle for a loss by Bill Callahan, the strong safety who came up to meet Dozier before he could turn the corner.
Billy Callahan was sitting on the outside there. He's supposed to be patient, wait for something to happen. As we watch it here comes Dozier looking to go inside. Now nothing's open. Now he scoots outside. Number 31, Billy Callahan, makes a fine tackle.
It's a loss of 4 yards back to the 24-yard line. 2nd down and 14 for the Lions at the Pitt 24. Already the Lions well within the range of Nick Gazzitano. 2nd down and 14 out of the eye with twin receivers to the wide side. And that's the way Strang rolls. Has open field, floats a pass, and it's caught by Jackson for a touchdown. A Penn State touchdown on a great play by Kenny Jackson. Went up with Melvin Dean and pulled the ball down, and Jackson is into the end zone. Penn State is on top.
As Strang drops back to pass, he rolls strong side. He's going back to pass. He sees Kenny Jackson. He points. He throws the ball up. As you watch Kenny Jackson, the athlete that he is, goes right up in the air, makes a great catch. Dives into the end zone. He's just a fine athlete.
Here comes Gazzitano's extra point try out of Strang's hold. 24-yard touchdown pass, Strang to Jackson. And the extra point is up and on the board, and it's 7-3. The Lions have assumed the lead here in the first quarter with 5:12 left. They take it 20 yards in 2 plays, and it's Strang to Jackson to put the Lions on top. Opportunistic Penn State Nittany Lions are on the board and leading 7-3. They recovered a John Kangemi fumbled snap. Radisic covered it for the Lions. 2 plays later, Strang floated a pass for the 5-yard line that Jackson went up and got and pulled in, and in one move got into the end zone, and the Lions on the 24-yard touchdown strike lead it 7-3. 5:12 left first quarter.
It seems like this, Billy. I would look at it like the turnovers. Pitt comes with a turnover, Penn State scores. Don't be surprised after every turnover something big happens, and this is the case.
Gancitano will kick it off, the man who tacked on the extra point. Coral Springs, Florida, the junior. At the goal line for the Panthers is Tom Brown. Up the right side, the Lions are there to greet him shy of the 20-yard line. Fine tackle for freshman Tim Manoa of North Allegheny High. Let's take a look at the touchdown once again.
As Strang drops back to pass, he rolls strong side. He's a patient quarterback, shows what type of quality quarterback he is. He sees his receiver, lays it up in the air. Watch Kenny Jackson, great athletic ability. Just goes up and takes the ball away.
Tom Johnson is now in a tight end for the Panthers, who go with 2 tight ends and a single setback. From the 17-yard line, Kangemi. Wallace stays in bounds, and the Lions hold on and keep him to a minimal gain of about 7 yards. Mark Fruhan, the cornerback, had his legs and wouldn't let go. Wallace couldn't get out of the grasp, and the gain is from the 17 forward to about the 23, so call it a 6-yard gain, and there's the Penn State scoring drive following Radisic's fumble recovery.
I like to see Pitt be very patient here and come on, throw the ball short, and just make some fine running plays. Penn State, on the other hand, is going to be attacking, and that's going to show quality coaching on both parts.
Penn State checking Wallace at the line of scrimmage. Collins is a flanker to the other side. And the lone setback, Bailey is the ball carrier, gets out to the 29 and appears to have the first down. Defensive end Bob White made the tackle for the Lions. Good blocking that time on the left side for the Panthers. Jim Sweeney, Greg Christie, and naturally Bill Fralick, the junior from Penn Hills. Fralick, an Outland Trophy candidate, and a man who many people believe may have done himself a world of good toward that goal with his great performance against Notre Dame a couple of weeks back. Ball is at the Pitt 29-yard line for a first down after the 6-yard gain. Mark Bailey. And Jimmy to the audible. Again, 2 tights and a single setback. Marlon McIntyre through the crease, and he gets good yardage out to about the 38-yard line. McIntyre, the junior from Bell Vernon. Mike Zordich and Harry Hamilton make the stop for the Penn State Nittany Lions, and Fralick once again cleared the way.
As you watch Marlon McIntyre run behind the back of Bill Fralick, you can see him blocking Radisic there, and there's not too many people that can do that to Scott Radisic.
The gain is out to the 38-yard line, so it'll be a second and short situation for the Panthers. It's 2nd and 1 at the 38 after McIntyre's 9-yard gain. Again, 2 tights, single setback. And again, the single setback gets the call, and the Panthers ring up another first down off that left side behind Fralick.
Penn State brought their tackles inside, and then Mark Bailey just bounced it outside, and luckily there was a corner out there.
Carmen Masi Antonio and Mark Fruhan tackled on the play, but they were separated for a while, and that allowed the running room for the first down. Ball is marked down at the Panther. We'll call it the 48-yard line. It's just shy of the 48. First down. Kangemi back. Kangemi with a man open, and a great defensive play for the Penn State player, and now they say nope, they're going to have the flags down. Reaching around was Chris Sidnor on the intended receiver, Dwight Collins. Sidnor will be hit with a penalty from the way things have developed, and there's the conference with referee Bill McDonald. Interference, Penn State.
Let's watch this. Sidnor does not make a bad play here. What he does is he puts his hand on Collins' back and reaches around with the other one. If he'd have kept his hands off at the white, most likely the official wouldn't have called it.
He got the ball, that's for sure, but apparently got something else as well. Now the ball is at the Penn State 42 after the pass interference penalty, and that is an automatic first down. 1st and 10 at the Penn State 42. The Lions lead it 7-3, 2:46 left of the first quarter. Again, 2 tights for the Panthers. The lone zone setback. Bailey gets the call, tries to spin out of there, but Penn State has him surrounded. He gets only 2 yards to about the 40. Gattuso, Carraher, Radisic, Masi Antonio all pitched down on the running back, and it's a minimal gain to the 40. It'll be second down and about 8.
When Pitt is in a too tight offense, Penn State is bringing their line inside. It's not giving them too much time to run. They got to go outside.
There's a Panther injured and down on the field, receiving attention from trainer Fran Feld. Pat Shapani, the freshman tight end from Upper St. Clair, I believe, is one of the 2 tight ends who was on the field and is the man who received the injury. And Dr. Richard Ray has also joined the trainers in attending to Shapani. He's down at the 40-yard line. The Panthers trailing this contest 7-3, 2:33 left in the first quarter. Pitt will have a second down and 8 from the 40-yard line.
There was such a polyp there that you can't really tell what happened underneath it, but most likely what happened is when everything it fell on his knee. It looks like they're tending his left knee. He's had problem with his left knee in the past.
He was injured in training camp in one of the Panthers' final scrimmages at Edinburgh, and that's why he was not available until about the 4th game of the season.
And that's a shame, Billy, because he's a fine tight end. He's a talented kid coming from Upper St. Clair High School.
And obviously Pitt wanting to go to the 2 tight end strategy would be a body short in that department, and it appears that Shapani is not going to come back because he's still down on the field. Panthers have only lost 2 games in the last 31 at Pitt Stadium. Those 2 were last year Notre Dame and Penn State the year before, the 48-14 game that the Lion fans love to talk about.
And the one that I hate to remember, Joe.
Sal, you were a participant in that game, and that ruined Panthers' national hopes that year in 1981.
Yes, it ruined it, but you got to give credit to Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno is one of the finest coaches in college football today.
Coach Fazio on the talk show last night called Joe the finest coach in college football, and there is Pat Shapani being helped from the field. Paterno in his 18th season, 169 victories, only 38 defeats, and has been involved in just 1 tie. 12 bowl teams in a row coming into this year, so this is his 13th in succession. And in his 17 previous seasons, his teams have finished in the top 10 13 of those 17 times. Left knee is the injury diagnosis for Pat Shapani. You see it heavily wrapped, and apparently he'll see no further action. Panthers at tight end have Wilson, Johnson, and Dexter Edmonds listed as tight ends. Pitt now with a second and 8 at the 40 of Penn State. Pitt trailing 7-3. Kangemi to the audible. And the pass is pulled in on the far sideline by the Panther receiver Bill Wallace, and it is going to be marked down at the 34-yard line of Penn State, which is a 6-yard gain. That'll set up a 3rd down and 2. Coverage by Mark Fruhan.
Kangemi's smart. He came out there playing the corners up. He audible. The safety dropped back, the corner dropped back, then you can throw the out.
Stand short, the injured Penn State player. So each team has lost a player in this contest. Each team has lost an offensive player. Kangemi 6 of 7 for 70 yards in the early going. 3rd down, and we'll call it 2 at the 34. That is Joe McCall, and he is snowed under, but he appears to have the 1st down in the vicinity of the 31-yard line. He needed to get to the 32. I believe he has it. Joe McCall cutting back on the inside toss, inside cutback.
That's exactly right, Billy. They thought he was going wide. Joe McCall just had in his mind he was going to get the 1st down. As he turned upfield, he was running north and south and dived over the top.
Panthers in this drive have picked up 1, 2, 3. That's their 4th 1st down on the drive. 1 was a penalty pickup. Pass interference.
As Kangemi pitches outside, watch Joe McCall. He sees the line. He has to get over it. He dives in the air. Scott Radisic made another fine play.
1st and 10, the Panthers at the Penn State 31. Wallace to the left, Collins flank right. McCall, option pass. It's not there. Penn State has McCall, and there'll be a loss of 3 yards back to the 34. Harry Hamilton got the shirt of Joe McCall and knocked him down. A fine defensive play for Penn State because they smelled the gimmick play, and they shut it down.
Kangemi pitches out here to Joe McCall. Disciplined corner for Penn State. He stays back. There's nothing open. I'll watch all the white shirts converge on him. Joe McCall does a smart thing. He tries to get out of bounds.
2nd down 10. The Panthers from the Penn State 31. Hines is in at left defensive tackle now, and Russo replaces Gattuso for the Lions at right defensive tackle. Again, audible for John Kangemi. Wingback formation. Penn State had the blitz on. And it's picked up, and McCall's got the football for the first down inside the 25 to the 22-yard line, where Hamilton, nope, it's going to be short of the first down marker. I take that back. It'll be short of first down yardage. Penn State had his progress impeded to that point where it's going to be inches short. It'll be a third down and inches. Hamilton with a fine defensive play for the Lions.
This Hamilton is a fine ball player for Penn State. I'll tell you what, he's been around the football all day today.
Penn State, with its history of brother connections, the Jackson brothers, the Hamilton brothers, the Bradleys. Pitt has had their share of brothers, the Pelusis, the Kavanaughs.
You know, that's what's great about football. Once you find a great family, you just keep on going back to that same family and keep recruiting.
It's close enough to measure, but it appears to be, I'd say, less than 2 inches.
Billy, 3 times now that Pitt's gone to a single back offense, Penn State has brought their middle linebacker on a blitz. They're going to get caught bringing that middle linebacker with somebody over the middle. They might have to make an adjustment on that because Pitt's offensive line is picking it up.
3rd and inches after the pass play. We'll call it a 9-yard gain. The ball is at the Penn State 21, and there's less than 2 inches for a first down. Gattuso and Carraher are back in for Penn State, and that's the quarter. The end of the first quarter with a score here at Pitt Stadium. Penn State 7, the Pitt Panthers 3. Penn State leads this contest 7-3. The Panthers got on the board first. They drove it 61 yards for the 27-yard field goal by Schubert. The Lions took advantage of a Panther fumble, recovery by Scott Radisick, and took it in on Strang to Jackson for 24 yards and the touchdown. Now, as we start the second quarter, the Panthers will have a third down and about 2 inches. Pat Chapani is being assisted from the field in a wheelchair, and we hope that the young man from Upper St. Clair has a speedy recovery. That's a tough blow for a young man, especially in a big game like this. There are the stats in the first quarter. The Panthers dominating, no question about it. Penn State, in an opportunistic fashion, converted a Panther turnover and leads the contest. Pitt with a big third and a couple of inches, that's all. Collins is way outside the formation. Everybody else is in tight. Penn State, 5-man front. McCall with more than enough for the first down behind Bill Fralick. He plowed inside the 20, got to about the 17-yard line. Hamilton and Fruhan drove him down.
Pitt that time came out with a 2 tight end offense, and they split the White Collins wide. There was 2 defensive backs on the outside covering Collins. Everybody else was on the inside. As you watch the surge here, watch Sweeney, Durando come off the football, and Joe McCall just goes right in behind him.
Ball is at the Penn State 17-yard line after McCall's pickup of 4 yards. Play action fake Kangemi. And the pass is pulled in out of bounds at the 2-yard line. It's incomplete. Collins down there pulled it in, but was out of bounds over the boundary marker, and it's incomplete. It'll be second down 10, and the clock is stopped early second quarter at 14:33.
As Kangemi rolled on in that pattern there, Billy, I thought he had the opportunity where he could have either threw the ball or ran the football. So the next time they come out, watch him running the football.
It appeared that he forced it just a bit because he had some room to run, and of course it's easy to second guess that sitting up here. Down on the field, it's a little different perspective. There's Nick Hayden, for a fine Penn State center from Montour High School. Down near the land of the quarterbacks, the Stowe Rocks area. Kangemi on 2nd and 10. For the end zone, and Wallace. And the Panthers are on the board and recapture the lead. Wallace beating the coverage of Fruhan and Zordich. Great catch to pull the ball down, and the Panthers leapfrog back on top.
This football game is going to go back and forth. I can tell just by the way it's going here. Watch Kangemi as he drops back to pass. What a throw. He lays the football up. Billy Wallace splits 2 defenders, makes a heck of a grab. This football game is going to be a game of mistakes, a game of big plays, and a game of turnovers.
Panthers march at 83 yards in 13 plays and go back on top. Schubert with the extra point try out of Kangemi's hole. The sidewinder boots it, and the right-footed soccer-style kicker puts it through, and the Panthers now lead this contest by a score of 10-7. Second quarter. We'll be right back after this. Panthers march at 83 yards in 12 plays. And the big one, the capper, Kenjemi Wallace for 17 yards on the touchdown. And at 14:24 left of the second quarter, Pitt is on top 10-7 here at Pitt Stadium before a more than capacity crowd of about 60,000. And there's junior Bill Wallace, the split end from Flemington, New Jersey. He has really had a great junior season for Pitt.
You know, Billy, he's had such a fine season. Like I said before in the pregame show, that Billy Wallace wasn't supposed to be our main receiver this year, but he's, you know, count on me in 83.
Here comes Viancourt's kickoff. It's a squib. Bow and Williams are deep, but one of the up men comes up to take it. Bow has it. He gets through a crease. Good field position for Penn State. They'll start from their own 33-yard line. Bow is tackled at the 33. Let's take another look at the touchdown by Matt Daniels, a freshman from Cincinnati Princeton High School. Strang now 3 for 6 for 68 yards. The Penn State quarterback has thrown for the Lions touchdown to Jackson. Here's the touchdown for Pitt. Kenjemi to Wallace.
As Kenjemi goes back to pass. Here goes Wallace throwing the ball up. He splits two receivers and makes a fine catch.
After Bow's fine kickoff return, Penn State from the 33. And Strang wants to put it up on first down. And it's a big gainer out to the 48-yard line, a pickup of 11. Well, make that more than that. That's about a 15-yard pickup to Kenny Jackson. Melvin Dean hit him immediately, but Jackson got open enough, and Strang hit him right on the numbers.
Strang has two receivers here. His tight end is wide open on the field. Kenny Jackson with such great speed, who's at Troy Hill that's playing him off. He has to get a little bit tighter on Kenny Jackson.
There's the scoring drive for Pitt. 83 yards in 12 plays. Kenjemi to Wallace. Penn State now moving quickly. Strang is 4 for 7. First and 10 at the Lion 48-yard line after the big gainer by Jackson. Dozier. And Callahan meets him. Dozier tried to turn the wide side, and strong safety Bill Callahan said no, not this time.
That young man, Billy Callahan, is playing a fine game so far. As Penn State's DJ Dozier rolls outside, he's looking for somewhere to go. Now DJ has the speed to get outside. He thinks he can do it, can get out there. Watch Billy Callahan come out like a rocket. Here he comes there he goes right there, wraps up, makes a fine tackle.
Kirk Bowman is in at tight end, replacing Dominio. Bowman, a senior. Bowman to the left side of the formation. Penn State second down and 10 from its own 48, trailing 10-7. Strang being pursued by middle guard Shilkin. And the pass is complete to Williams. It'll be a short gain as Williams goes out of bounds at the Penn State 46-yard line. Actually, it'll be a loss of a couple of yards on the play. Shilkin was in hot pursuit of Strang, and he had to dump it off to Williams. He did, but it is going to go for a loss of 2 yards back to the 46.
Penn State was throwing screen there, and Pitt was playing screen. So what happened was it was just like a no win-loss situation.
Third down and 12. Penn State from its own 46. 13:23 left second quarter. The flanker left is Jackson. Strang on the other way. Over Bow's head, incomplete. Coverage on the play was really not a factor as the ball was thrown incomplete, but Troy Hill was there just in case.
I'll tell you what the factor was, Billy. Billy Moss. He came from the outside. He put pressure on Strang. Strang saw him come out of the corner's eye, threw it in a hurry, and didn't follow through enough.
The punter, George Reynolds, will be trying his second effort of the afternoon from Stillman's long snap. Wallace looks into the sun as the Panther lone return man. Tom Flynn is wearing a flak jacket today and is not going to return punts unless absolutely necessary for Pitt. Nice spiral by Reynolds, but again he kicks it into the end zone. It'll be a 54-yard punt. But the Panthers will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. 13-11 left of the second quarter. Pitt ahead 10-7. The Panthers broke the ice on a Schubert field goal of 27 yards. Penn State capitalized on Radicek's fumble recovery, took it in on a Strang to Jackson 24-yard touchdown pass, and then the Panthers got the ball back and marched right downfield, 83 yards and 12 plays to go back on top. This game is taking on the same sort of aspects that the Penn State-Notre Dame game did a week ago. A lot of lead changes. 1st and 10, the Panthers from their own 20-yard line, leading 10-7. Collins is a flanker right, Wallace split end left. Kajemi being hotly pursued. Good move. And Kajemi gets the Panther 1st down. He was tripped up by Radicek, but he put a move on a Penn State defender and did the job. The cool customer from Lauderdale Lakes did a good job of making a big plus out of something that could have been a minus or a turnover.
John Kajemi's not supposed to have the speed, but when it comes to a Pitt-Penn State game, you find that speed. He makes a move right here at the bottom of the screen at number 95. And then Radicek once again makes a fine play.
Rogers Alexander was the man that had the move put on him by Kajemi. With the gain out to the 30-yard line of 10 yards by Kajemi on the keeper. McCall on the sweep. And he gets to the 50-yard line. Another Panther 1st down. Joe McCall got a good block from his fullback, and that was Mark Bailey, and he turned the corner. Bob White finally brought him down, but not before McCall picked up 20 yards and a Panther 1st down to midfield.
As you watch Joe McCall get to the outside here, watch Mark Bailey makes a key block. Now Dwight Collins is looking for somebody. He's a little late getting there, but Joe McCall is running north and south. As you see it from another angle, here comes Mark Bailey. Watch the key block on number 17. He cuts him. Joe McCall coming outside. Fine play by Joe McCall.
Panthers with a 1st down at midfield, and Kajemi wants to put it up again. Wilson with a diving effort at the Penn State 42-yard line, and they say it is a catch to the 42. Hamilton with tight coverage. Clint Wilson, the junior tight end from Pahokee, Florida, the same hometown that produced a Panther linebacker from several years back, and that was Ricky Jackson, who's now with the New Orleans Saints.
The difference now is John Kajemi. He's throwing tight spirals. Hamilton was on Clint Wilson. He just put the football there. You can't blame that young man from Penn State.
2nd down and 2. The Panthers at the Penn State 42 after Wilson picks up 8 yards on the pass reception from John Kajemi. Kajemi having a fine afternoon. 9 for 11 in the passing department, and again he wants an audible. Changes of play at the line of scrimmage. Tight coverage, but the pass is complete to Bill Wallace. No, yep, they say it is complete to Wallace. He holds on. Another fine effort. Carmen Antonio made the tackle for Penn State. I had to hold up because I couldn't see whether the ball had popped loose or not.
As you see, this Penn State's getting caught and switching their defense, and it's hurting them right now. They have to go to a defense that they're going to call.
Antonio trying to strip the ball, and for a while my eye fooled me and I thought it might have come loose, but Wallace, the sure-handed young man, picks up the Panther 1st down to the Penn State 33-yard line. That pass play, Kajemi to Wallace, covered 9 yards for the 1st down. Tim Johnson now in a defensive end for the Penn State Lions. Hines comes in as a tackle, markers fly, and the Panthers will be hit with an offensive mistake here, an infraction, either motion or procedure. Let's see what Bill McDonald, the referee from the College Independence, decides here. Kajemi 10 of 12 for 116 yards unofficially here in the 1st half, which has 11 minutes to go. The Panthers lead this contest 10-7 and are trying to drive for more. Pat Chapani, unfortunately, suffered damaged ligaments. He is out for the game.
You know, that's a shame because that young man worked extremely hard to play in this game today, but I think it's more important to get him healthy.
Ball stop.
Let's hope he can get ready for the Panther Bowl trip. That would be tough to have to miss that one. 1st down, call it 15. The Panthers now operate from their 38-yard line after the 5-yard infraction. Go from the eye. They haven't gone from the eye that much today. Kajemi changes it up. He's gone to the audible 80% of the time today.
He's seeing something, Billy. Let's see if it works out.
Penn State holds it to a short game as McCall gets to about the 35-yard line, maybe inside the 35, but he did not get back to the original line of scrimmage, so let's just assume that he got about 3 yards of the 5-yard penalty back. Let's watch Bill Fralick in action.
As Fralick comes off the football, watch his hands, they're inside. Bam, there he makes the play. He cuts number 84. Everyone's used to taking Billy on high, so he's going to start cutting people.
2nd down and 12. Tim Manoa in as an outside linebacker, the freshman from North Allegheny for Penn State. Big rush on Kajemi. And he's going to unload the football, incomplete. Almost a sack from hero back Harry Hamilton, who was all over Kajemi, but the cool customer hung in there, stepped out of the tackle by Hamilton, and delivered an incomplete pass, apparently intended for Clint Wilson.
Penn State did there, Billy, they brought their inside linebacker, and then they brought their strong safety upfield. They brought a guy underneath, meaning over the center, and then they brought Hamilton on the outside, which caused some problems. We don't have enough people to pick that up unless the back stays in.
Panthers face a 3rd down and 12 at the Penn State 35-yard line, and the Panthers leading this contest 10-7. 9:59 left of the 2nd quarter. Collins to the short side. Wallace is a split end right. 2 tight ends for the Panthers. Kajemi, and he is sacked back to the 45-yard line by Rogers Alexander. A fine defensive play for Penn State, and that immediately brings the Panther punt team on the field.
They brought their, as you watch your screen here, they bring somebody from the bottom of your screen. They bring the strong safety Hamilton again. The corner fire, that's what it's called. John Kajemi has to be careful of that, and he has to do quick passes.
Line of scrimmage is the Penn State 45. Penn State with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Tony Recchia is the Panther punter. Anthony Magnelli out over the football for Pitt. Penn State now backs 4 players off the line of scrimmage, and Recchia has time to kick a low, short kick. Angling it for the left sideline. It'll go out of bounds inside the 15, right at the 15-yard line. So Tony Recchia prevents Penn State from returning the football by knocking it out at the 15-yard line. A 30-yard punt. Pitt leading 10-7. We'll be right back. Dozier trying the right side. Chris Dolman is there with Benson. And they knock him down, and we have an injured player. Dozier is hurt. On 1st down, Penn State from their 15 tries the sweep. Dozier trying to turn it around the corner is hit by Dolman and Benson, and Dozier's out of the ball game. Apparently has a shoulder problem, and Tony Mumford, a junior from Lindenwood, New Jersey, will be in a tailback for Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions. No gain on the play to the 15. 2nd and 10, and Strang wants to put it up. And it's complete to Bow for the Penn State 1st down to the 27-yard line. He picked up about 12 on the play as he threw that quick comeback pattern to the right sideline to the 27.
As you watch Kevin Bow run patterns, he's very quick. He runs sharp patterns. He comes back to the football. He's just a fine athlete.
8:20 left of the 2nd quarter. The Panthers lead at 10-7, but Penn State has a 1st down at the Lions' 27. Strang is now 6 for 9 in the air for 93 yards for the Lions. Operates out of the eye with motion by Jackson. Fullback pop. John Williams, short yardage to about the 30-yard line. He picked up about 3, and that's all off that right side. Shot of the Penn State sideline, and freshman sensation DJ Dozier, who came into this contest needing 8 yards rushing to get the 1,000-yard mark. Dozier at this moment has 6 yards. He's 2 yards short of the mark, and has a shoulder problem that they're working on. Penn State 2nd and 7 from its own 30-yard line. Again, motion by the ever-dangerous Jackson. Strang for Bow, wide open. And Bow has a first down out to the 43-yard line. Tackled there by Melvin Dean, but Bow again got open. Jackson ran the post pattern, and then Bow broke it to the outside.
Strang rolls out strong. They're going to twins. Here comes Kevin Bow. He's Chris moves. Melvin Dean respects Kevin Bow, so he's playing off him. That's leaving the underneath patterns. Pitt's going to have to come with a corner fire, some other type of blitz to contain Strang.
12-yard gain again. That's two back-to-back 12-yard passes, Strang to Bow. Strang now 7 for 11 for 106. First and 10. Penn State at its own 42. And the draw play to Mumford, and Mumford is tripped up as he dives forward to about the 44-yard line, tripped up by left defensive tackle Bob Bukowski.
Bob Bukowski was playing an inside technique over his tackle, playing his inside eye. He came inside and made a fine play there. He threw his body in the line of the runner.
Another change of the Penn State backfield. Skeeter Nichols is in now, replacing John Williams at fullback. So it's an all-new backfield for Penn State. Mumford, the tailback, a junior. Nichols, a junior, is the fullback. They operate out of the eye. Second down, we'll call it about 9 from the 43-yard line. Bow to the left, Jackson to the right. Strang for Jackson, who's open. And he's got it. Kenny Jackson is in for a Penn State touchdown, and the Lions are back on top. A 57-yard bomb, Strang to Jackson. Jackson beat the Panther coverage and got in.
Kenny Jackson shows you what type of speed he had there. Strang just threw the ball up in the air. He knew it was a blitz. As we watch it from the ground level, Strang dropping back to pass. Here comes Pitt with a blitz. Strang throws the ball up. Troy Hill gets caught. They're in a man-to-man. Tommy Flynn's a little late coming over. He just has to. I'll tell you what, Kenny Jackson must love playing in Pitt Stadium.
Jackson did not have a great early part of the season, much like the Penn State Nittany Lions. He came on as the season got longer and certainly had his best game last week, catching seven aerials against Notre Dame. This afternoon, he's caught 2 bombs, one for 24, this one for 57, and he's the reason the Lions are back on top. Gansitano with the extra point try, it's up, and it's good. Out of the hole by Doug Strang, and so Penn State now is back on top in this football game. We got a leapfrog situation. It's 14-10 the Lions, 6:10 remaining second quarter. We'll be back after this.
I told Tommy Flynn,
Penn State on a Strang to Jackson 57-yard bomb, and Jackson got around the Panther coverage and pulled it in. Strang hit him right there, and it's Penn State with Jackson scoring both touchdowns, leading 14-10. We have 6:10 remaining, second quarter here at Pitt Stadium. The sun is shining and the temperature is unseasonably mild. And there's the Penn State Lion mascot. Very happy now that Jackson has rung up 2 touchdown receptions, and the Lions have gone back on top. 14-10. We have 6:10 left of the second quarter.
Seems to be, Bill, this game's going back and forth, back and forth. It's a leapfrog, like you said. They have to make some adjustments in each defensive part, and it's an offensive game.
Gansitano will kick it off from the near hash mark. Panthers have Stennett and Scales. Nope, that's Brown deep to receive, and Brown will take it going over his shoulder. It's a booming kickoff, and it's non-returnable. Pitt 1st and 10 at its own 20.
As Strang drops back to pass, watch the speed of Kenny Jackson. Strang just throws the ball up. He's so wide open. Tommy Flynn got caught inside. He has to wait for the football. Kenny Jackson just takes it on in.
2 former high school teammates, Kenny Jackson and Troy Hill at South River, New Jersey. Panthers line up 1st and 10 from their own 20. Wallace to the right side, Collins flanker left. Pitt now comes out of the I formation, trailing 14-10. McCall on the cutback behind Fralick, and McCall picks up a gob of yardage out to the 25 to the 27-yard line. Tackled there by Mike Russo with help from Mike Zordich, the safety, coming up to meet the play. There's the Penn State scoring drive. They did it quickly. 6 plays, 85 yards, and the capper strang to Jackson. Second down, 3 now. The Panthers from their own 27, following a call, 7-yard pickup. Collins now to the wide side, and to the short side is Wallace. Panthers trying to bounce it out. Now they cut it back, and the first down is rung up by Joe McCall behind the block by Mark Bailey. Joe McCall gets it out to the 35-yard line. He picked up 8 before Hamilton and Sidnor made the tackle for Penn State.
The last 3, as you watch Joe McCall come to the outside here, he's in a hurry to get upfield. He goes outside. Mark Bailey blocks number 17 Hamilton. The number 34 Joe McCall just takes it upfield. That's what it's going to take for Pitt to move the football.
First down and 10. The Panthers at their own 35. McCall on 9 carries has rushed for 45 yards so far. Jemmy with play action. He's got all kind of heat in the kitchen, and we've got a marker down. The intended receiver was tight end Tom Johnson. Hero back Harry Hamilton. It will be ruled. Got a hand in on the receiver before the ball got there. Tommy Johnson, a converted lineman, is now a tight end. He's a senior from Penn Hills at 6'5", 260 pounds. And the officials rule that Hamilton interfered with Johnson.
As you see, he got in there just a little bit too soon, and the referees had a bad view of it. He's behind the play. He made the call. You have to deal with that. But the thing that's impressing me about Penn State is they're bringing 2 outside blitz every time.
That's the second pass interference call against the Lions this afternoon. And it gives the Panthers a first down at their own 45-yard line, trailing 14-10. 5 minutes left, second quarter. Jeff Casper now is in a split end position for Pitt. McCall behind the fullback block. McCall to the Penn State 45 and more. Zordich made the tackle. Dahl through the block that sprung him to the inside as he cut it back. Mike Dahl pulling, the senior guard from Joppa, Maryland, springs Joe McCall for a big first down gain.
As we see the ball going outside, number 21 Bailey makes the block there. Dahl clears out the inside, then he's running north and south. He gets down the field.
Ball at the Penn State 40-yard line, and Joe McCall picks up 15 yards on that carry. Out of the I formation. McIntyre, the fullback, following Frelick's blocking, gets into about the 35-yard line to the 34 for about 6 yards, where Gattuso and defensive end, hero back Harry Hamilton bring him down at the 34, pickup of 6 yards. McCall now on 10 carries, 60 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a pop. That's not bad.
Joe McCall in the last 3 weeks has really come into his own. He wants to run the football. The draft's coming up. He wants to impress a lot of people.
Shane Conlon, a freshman outside linebacker, is into the game for Penn State. 2nd and 4 the Panthers at the state 34-yard line. The Lions coming in 7-4. Pitt 8-2. Busted play. Kajemi in trouble, and they've got him on a sack. Big defensive play for Greg Gattuso, the senior from Seton LaSalle. Kajemi turned to the left side. Nobody there. Wanted to cut it back to the right and roll, but Gattuso upset him and knocked him down for a loss back to the Penn State 45. It's an 11-yard loss.
As you can see, it was a broken play. Gattuso makes a fine play coming inside. Watch him motor himself down. He's going to make the short tackle instead of making a heck of a hit.
3rd down and 15. The Panthers at the Penn State 45-yard line.
Gattuso making the fine play there with number 34 coming in behind him.
3rd and long for the Panthers. Kajemi to the audible once again. There are Gattuso's stats for the year. Big blitz. McIntyre is hit immediately, and he'll not go anywhere. Scott Radisick was right on the pass receiver McIntyre coming out of the backfield. The Lions are able to apply that heat when they have to. On the previous drive, they stopped the Panthers by just kind of putting the caps on everything at a certain point in the drive, and they do it once again.
Here comes the pressure from the bottom of your screen. He has to get the ball away fast, and Radisick's right on Marlon McIntyre. Fine defensive coach at Penn State's coming with some right calls.
Loss of 1 yard on the play. 4th down and 16, and Tony Recchia is on to punt, and that's Kevin Bow back to receive. Penn State with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Now they back 3 of them up. And it's not a good punt this time for Recchia. Coming up to meet it on the fair catch is Bow at his own 16-yard line. Again, the Lions start deep in their own territory, but on the previous drive they showed Great ability to move it downfield quickly, marching 85 yards in only 6 plays and getting the bomb from Strang to Jackson. That punt by Recchia traveled 31 yards.
As you can see, it's a game of mistakes. Pitt's moving the football fine. Kangemi goes to an audible. They don't pick it up. Gattuso comes up with the sack. So you can see it's a seesaw battle going back and forth.
2 minutes and 26 seconds remain, second quarter. Each team has its full complements of 3 timeouts remaining. Penn State sets up its tight end, Kirk Bowman, to the other side, and now Strang does not like what he sees and decides to call a timeout, so Penn State has 2 timeouts remaining. Penn State leading 14-10. The Lions getting on the board. Strang to Jackson for 24 yards, Strang to Jackson for 57 yards. The Panthers scoring a 27-yard field goal by Schubert and a touchdown pass, Kangemi to Wallace of 17 yards.
Joe Paterno's philosophy is this. He has the best skilled people on the field. He's going to run underneath patterns, outs, and all that to wear you down. Then, as he lulls you to sleep with the underneath patterns, you remember we go back to the Sugar Bowl. They come back to the bomb, the Garrity. That's just what they did right here. They threw an out to Kevin Ball. They threw an out to Kenny Jackson. Back to Kevin Ball, and then they run a takeoff with Kenny Jackson.
Panthers have effectively shut down the Lions' running game, and now that Dozier is on the bench and apparently injured, how much further action he'll be able to see is a question mark right now. In the meantime, Tony Mumford has come in at tailback, and Skeeter Nichols has replaced John Williams at fullback. Penn State leading 14-10. This game is delivering just what we thought it promised. It just shaped up all week long as perhaps one of the finest Penn State games in recent memory, and so far has been everything and more.
Really, it seems like the only seat we can get here is to go back on the cathedral and we can watch the game. Everything else is full.
And they've installed temporary seats, and they're full, so we're close to 60,000. Penn State 1st and 10 from its own 16 after the timeout. Motion by Jackson. Strang with a deep give, and that is Tony Mumford, the tailback, and he gets a few yards out to the 20 to about the 21, so it's a pickup of 5. Aldershot made the tackle for Pitt. Aldershot, a junior linebacker from Mount Lebanon, and Troy Benson, a junior linebacker from Altoona. Benson's older brother, Brad, played at Penn State.
As Strang opens up, you can see the pressure by Billy Moss coming inside. He's just a little late getting there. He makes Mumford come back inside. Then Caesar Aldershot, a fine linebacker from Mount Lebanon, makes the play.
2nd down, 5. Penn State from its own 21. Twin receivers to the short side. The cutback by Nichols, and he's not going anywhere on a hard tackle by the Panthers' Caesar Aldershot, who got in there to plug what looked like a little gap there that the back was trying to slip through, and Troy Benson got in there to plug it up and knock the man off his feet.
Troy Benson has to be one of the finest linebackers in the East. Him and Radisak are both quality linebackers. And I think just Eastern football today is one of the finest footballs around the country.
Gain of 1 on the play. 3rd down and 4. Penn State from its own 22. John Williams is back in the game at fullback. For the Lions, Kirk Bowman is the tight end. Strang on 3rd and 4. And the man open. Off his hands and incomplete. Kevin Bow couldn't hold it. Diving for it in vain was the Panther defender downfield. And that was, I believe, Melvin Dean diving for the possible interception, but it was not possible. So Penn State's punt team is on. George Reynolds. His previous punt was 54 yards. Strang now 9 for 13 in the passing department. Reynolds on 3 punts has averaged 47 in this game. And the deep man for Pitt to receive is Bill Wallace, looking into the sun with 1:08 remaining in the second quarter. Big pressure by Bill Sapio, but Reynolds gets it away, and here comes Wallace. And Wallace will get a short return out to the 42-yard line, and so the Panthers, with a minute left and all 3 timeouts remaining, after the 44-yard punt, Pitt will have it 1st and 10 from its own 42-yard line. Stillman, the man who snapped the ball, went downfield and made the tackle for the Penn State special teams.
I like what Joe Paterno is doing with his offense. He's running twin sets, which all that means is 2 receivers wide, and they're running combination patterns. They're picking for each other. One's running inside, the other one's running outside. They're doing the high-low, meaning a receiver in front and a receiver in the back.
A minute left of the second quarter. The Panthers trail 14-10. And start from their own 43-yard line. They shift out of the eye and put the tailback McCall up as a wingback type. Kangemi under heat. Ducks the rush. Pass complete to Clint Wilson, and the Panthers get it to midfield. Wilson, the tight end, is tackled immediately by Carmen Massiantonio. Scott Radisic putting the pressure on the quarterback, but Kangemi delivered and goes without a huddle now. Pass picked up 7 yards. We'll call it 2nd down and 3 at midfield. No huddle for the Panthers. 32 seconds left of the half, and Stennett with a good job of getting the man out of his way and getting the ball out of bounds at the 38-yard line. It's a Panther first down, a pickup of 12 yards. The jitterbug move by Stennett was effective on Sidnor, and so Stennett not only got extra yardage in the first down, he got out of bounds and stopped the clock at 27 seconds left of the second quarter.
Pitt going to their 2-minute offense, trying to get plays in and out fast. Matt Stennett was an audible from the line. It's basic got, makes a nice move, like Billy says, the jitterbug moves, turns it upfield, gets out of bounds, 27 seconds left remaining.
13-yard pickup for Stennett on the pass reception from the Penn State 37. On first down, Kangemi with good protection. Over the middle, McCall, and it's over his head, incomplete. The pass was overthrown. McCall had gotten in and around some coverage and had gotten open, but Kangemi overthrew, and that stops the clock at 22 seconds left.
If John Kangemi would have took his time just a little bit more, he would have had 3 receivers open. They brought the inside linebacker and brought Joe McCall up the middle. Now the safeties on both sides have to converge on the middle, leaving both wide receivers open.
22 seconds left of the second quarter. Penn State leads at 14-10. The Panthers have all 3 timeouts left here in the first half. 2nd and 10 from the Penn State 37. Kangemi again to the audible. Short pocket pass. Wallace with a great grab inside the 20. It's another Panther first down right at the 20-yard line. Mark Fruhan got the hand up, but Wallace, reaching up with one hand, pulled in a miraculous reception for the Panthers.
This is a zone pass. It's thrown right away as soon as he leaves the line of scrimmage. Watch Wallace's hand. He goes up. That's the type of catches that people like John Stallworth, Chandler, people in the NFL make. That's a fine catch by Billy Wallace.
Panthers call their first timeout, so the Panthers and the Lions each have 2 timeouts remaining. And the Panthers have a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line after Kangemi, going to the audible, hits Wallace on a great grab for 17 yards and a first down to the Penn State 20.
Billy, they have to do more. If Pitt wants to win this football game, or at least score here, Penn State has been bringing everybody. They bring their strong safety. They brought their inside linebacker. They brought all 3 of them at the same time. What they call it in pro football is blitz control. You run a one-man pattern and you throw it fast. The other backs stay in and pick it up. Most likely it either goes to your tight end or wide receiver.
Panthers call their first timeout, and it happens here with 17 seconds to go, second quarter. The Panthers trailing the Lions 14-10. And if the Panthers are forced here to kick a field goal, the question is, who would be the man to come on to kick it? Would it be Eric Schubert? I would think so. But it's very possible that the Panthers might go to a Snuffy Everett, the straight-on kicker from this range, or perhaps freshman walk-on kicker Pat Vinecourt. They're using 3 kickers.
Just like 3 quarterbacks. But today, I think they'll go with Schubert and kick the ball, Billy, because he's got that nice, easy swing.
Penn State now lined up in a 3-4 defense. 1st and 10, the Panthers at the 20-yard line with 17 seconds left of the quarter. Kangemi, oh, what a big play for Penn State's defensive man, Joe Hines. He got in there and just submerged Kangemi as Kangemi went back to the 28-yard line, absorbing an 8-yard loss.
They ran a twist up front, Billy. What I mean by a twist, the one defensive lineman, Cattuso, picked for Hines to come underneath. As you watch it here on the screen, watch it. Here he comes, upfield. Now he runs around. Durundo, Michael has to slide in front of him and pick him up. That was a fine play by that young man.
Joe Hines, 6'2", 260-pound senior from Cleveland, Ohio. Had 3 sacks coming into this game, and Penn State in this game has sacked the Panther quarterback 3 times unofficially. And that loss was 8 yards back to the 28-yard line, and then the Panthers stopped the clock with their second timeout with 11 seconds left of the second quarter.
Penn State has a fine football team. The record doesn't do them justice. Pitt Panthers have a fine football team. Their record is speaking for themselves. Both teams are has quality coaches. What can you say about Eastern football here?
Well, Eastern football has long been considered the Penn State-Pitt competition, but this year West Virginia came on the scene in a big hurry and was highly ranked all year long and is going to a bowl. Boston College was highly ranked all year long, and the Eagles are going to a bowl. And so now, instead of the Big 2 in the East, you got the Big 4, and rightfully so. The East is on the rise in college football. Second down. The Panthers have 18 to go from the 28-yard line. 11 seconds left of the quarter. Kangemi to the audible once again. He's done it about 80% of the time. And has had trouble communicating. Still plenty of time on the play clock. Kangemi for the end zone. Wallace is wide open and he's overthrown. Wallace broke wide open over the middle. Clock stops at 6 seconds left of the half. Bill Wallace went right down the middle. Penn State going to the sidelines with their secondary. Cornerback Mark Fruhan broke the other way. Wallace had him beat badly, but Kangemi could not put the ball on the numbers. Third down, 18.
This could be a critical situation right here. 6 seconds remaining. Are they going to try for the touchdown or look to see what's open? If nothing's open, throw the ball out of bounds and go for the field goal?
Panthers with 6 seconds left of the half and 1 timeout remaining. Go with a single setback. Kangemi again audibilizing. Kangemi scrambling. And he tries to throw it back in bounds, and that will bring an intentional grounding penalty. Steve Sefter knocked him down, but the clock expires. That is an offensive penalty. And we'll await the call from referee Bill McDonald before we break away. It happened right in front of the Panther bench. Intentional grounding is the call against the Panthers. It's been declined, and that's the half. Penn State, heading for the locker room, has the halftime lead. That's the end of the first half here before a capacity crowd plus at Pitt Stadium on an unseasonably beautiful afternoon in November. The halftime score, Penn State 14, Pitt 10. We'll be back to Pitt Stadium with more halftime activities right after this.
Second half of football. Penn State with a 4-point lead, leading 14-10. Pitt will have the option in the second half. Undoubtedly, they will elect to receive, although you never know. The weather is not a factor today as far as wind and so on and so forth. Indeed, Pitt will exercise its option and receive, and will move left to right here in the third quarter. George, I want to get back to a point because I do think it's key. We talked about offsetting the Pitt defense, keying on Dozier, giving the ball to the fullback on the inside trap, counter plays, whatever. In addition to that, what can they do, other than blocking, obviously, to get Dozier back in this football game?
Well, if somebody wants to take a player out of the game, you can't stop them. If they want to, as I said before, overplay Dozier, over-defense him, now what you do, then you use him as a decoy, put him in motion, pull out a linebacker, run some counters, run the fullback. You don't even have to use a trap. You can give the ball to the fullback off that sweep that the Penn State runs where the fullback leads. So, they're definitely keying. And sometimes the defense will have 2 different type of keys. The inside might be keying on the fullback because he leads a lot of plays, and the safety could be keying on Dozier so he can come up and make the tackle on the field. And you use that, you use some different formations, and then you run play action off it. And actually, that's the only thing Penn State has been successful with in the first half is some play action and getting the ball deep to Jackson.
Penn State will kick off to open the second half. It is absolutely an incredible statistic. Officially, Penn State has 0 yards rushing in the first half. So Pitt will get the ball first here in the second half, trailing 14-10. Bailey, deep man in the middle. Antitano kicking off. It will go deep. Brown will take it and come out of there. 2 yards deep in the end zone. Gets to the sideline, hit and knocked out of bounds right near the 20-yard line. So Brown gets about a half a yard more than had he taken the touchback. Lance Hamilton, whom we spoke of earlier, makes the tackle. And the Pitt offense, which has amassed a total of 228 yards, which is pretty much on average what Penn State's defense has given up. We'll get it 1st and 10. There's Pitt and Penn State, oldest of rivals, going all the way back before the turn of the century. This is the 83rd meeting between the two, and coming into today's game, Penn State had won 41, Pitt had won 38. There have been 3 ties. So the ball just outside the 20-yard line. And we've got a problem with the clock. It did not start running on the kickoff. So I'd imagine they want to run it down about 7-8 seconds, and they will do that now. In college football, the clock does not start until the ball is touched in the field of play. As unlike the pros, which starts immediately except in the final 2 minutes. So 5 seconds are accorded the kickoff return by Tom Brown, and Pitt will start out at their own 20-yard line. They've led in most statistics, and John Kajemi has hit on 14 out of 20, the official call. 150 yards, 1 touchdown. He has, however, been sacked 3 times. 1st and 10, McCall is hit. No, Kajemi keeping it. He is hit in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. Harry Hamilton, Bob White, great penetration.
Stan, he wanted to hand the ball to McCall, and White and Hamilton got there so fast he couldn't do it. He had to give ground. Penetration causes a lot of emotional and offensive problems. You saw White hit McCall. Forcing Kajemi to go back to the outside. Big loss.
Did my eyes deceive me, or was that actually a fumble that Kajemi picked out of midair?
I think he did. I think McCall fumbled the ball, and Kajemi was there to pick it up. But again, that's penetration. Great penetration by the defense.
Fortunate break for Pitt. I feel better about calling McCall with the football. I thought he handed off to him. Harry Hamilton comes out of the game. Mike Suter is in. They might take advantage of that. 2nd down and 14. Pitt at its own 16. Delayed draw to McCall. Tries to get outside to the left. Gets across the 20. He fumbled the football and is rolling loose, and Pitt is recovered at the 20-yard line. Mike Dahl, the right offensive guard, number 61, made the recovery. So Pitt has fumbled twice on the first 2 plays of the second half, and they've been fortunate to recover both. It will be 3rd down and 9 yards to go for the 1st down.
And a contributing factor is that Penn State has not been coming like this, as played as aggressively as this in the first half. That throws the offensive lineman off a little bit.
Penn State, the 2nd quarter, came with the blitz and almost every passing down. Let's see if they do it here on 3rd and 10. Here they come. Kajemi's hit. He fumbles. It's loose. Penn State. Touchdown. No, they're going to call it down at the 2-yard line. Scott Radisick has the football, and Penn State will have it 1st and goal at the 2. Pitt has fumbled on the first 3 plays of the second half.
This is a half-line stunt. Watch 97. Come on the blitz. Mashantonio comes. They come from the outside. Hey, when you put pressure on an offense, all things happen. Penn State gets the football.
The ruling there is, of course, in college football, the defense may not advance the fumble. Shane Conlon is the man who hit John Kajemi, number 31. Here he comes.
He comes from a defensive linebacker spot, but you talk about difference of night and day. Penn State is blitzed on almost every play in the last 10 sequences.
Pitt fumbles 3 times in a row. They lose the 3rd. Power I right. 1st and goal from the 2. Dozier hit at the 1. Touchdown, Penn State. Dozier with his patented spin move is in on 1 play, and Penn State, again taking advantage of a Pitt fumble, has gone to a 20-10 lead. Dozier ran into Caesar Aldisert. Aldisert did not wrap his arms, and Dozier scores for the Nittany Lions. And for DJ, it is 7th rushing touchdown of the year. Gansitano to attempt the extra point. Jim Parker will hold. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So on 1 snap from center, Penn State has upped their lead to 21-10. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 10. We'll be back right after this. Sorry, you played. That was terrific. Headed to 12. Following Penn State's 2nd score to give the Lions a 14-10 lead, the teams have exchanged punts, and Penn State has the ball. Headed to 13. Following Penn State's 2nd score to give the Lions a 14-10 lead, the Lions, headed to 13, take 2. Following Penn State's 2nd score to give the Lions a 14-10 lead, the teams have exchanged punts, and Pitt has the ball. Headed to 14. After Penn State recovered a Pitt fumble and moved for a touchdown and extra point, the Lions lead 21-10, and Pitt has the ball. At Q15. After Penn State recovered a Pitt fumble and moved for a touchdown and extra point, the Lions lead 21-10, and Penn State has the ball again. 13-18 to play in the third quarter. The Penn State defense, the last two possessions for Pitt has been the star of the game. Shane Conlon forcing a fumble. Scott Radisick recovered. DJ Dozier for the touchdown, and Gancitano will kick. Again, deep. Brown will field it out of the end zone. Home run ball for Gancitano, and Pitt will start out from their own 20-yard line. I can't say it enough, George. What this team does sometimes, the defense has really turned it on. Certainly their most aggressive play, I think, of the year.
By far. What they did, they let the Bulls out of the pen and let them go. They let them run it.
Not your longest in-time or yardage touchdown drive. 2 yards, 1 play, 4 seconds. Now Pitt is behind 11 points. McIntyre, the fullback, good yardage over left tackle across the 25, out to the 26-yard line. Radisick and Hamilton making the tackle for Penn State. I'm sure Foch Fazio wants to settle his club down. After all, on their first possession of the second half, they fumbled all 3 times they had the ball.
Collins is coming out limping, too. Dwight Collins has a bad sprained ankle. What's throwing Pitt off is that they're not used. They haven't seen Penn State come like this aggressively on defense.
Well, you talk about good coaching. Part of that is the adjustment made during the game and at halftime. McCall, right tackle. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. He will be stopped for perhaps a gain of just 1 yard. Harry Hamilton and Scott Caraher making the tackle for the Nittany Lions. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
Scott Caraher did a great job playing off the offensive block, getting to the outside and closing the hole.
And Harry Hamilton is just playing a magnificent football game. And Caraher has been a late addition. He's a senior, but he really started playing about the middle of the season. He is a senior from Emmaus, Pennsylvania. Big play, 3rd down and 2. McCall, he's hit, and I don't know if he made it or not. From the spot of the ball, I would say yes, he did. Bob White made the tackle. The spot of the ball, the nose should be on the yard line, the 30, which is where they had to go, and that by inches will be good enough for a 1st down. That would have been a big defensive stand for Penn State.
They ran over Freilich again, but this time they got inches where they've been getting 4 and 5 yards a time. You'll see them go over Freilich here. McCall made the play. He timed his leap perfectly. He wanted to get that 1st down. He goes up and over. But they were stacked up pretty good inside there. Great play by McCall. Absolutely, and a big play by McCall, because had they not made it, they'd have been forced to punt. And you talk about momentum starting to swing. As it is, Pitt keeps possession. Fullback Bailey going over Freilich again. This time he'll get a couple just past the 32-yard line. So Pitt, which ran for 78 yards in the first half compared to 0 for Penn State, having a bit more difficulty running the football. Sophomore linebacker Rogers Alexander getting his ankle taped. What a hitter he is, 6'3", 194 from Riverdale, Maryland. 2nd down and 8. Pitt finds themselves in a passing down. Here's McCall trying to get outside, the 35, the 40, and he's out across the 40, and a Pitt 1st down at their own 43-yard line. Radisick, moving laterally, made the tackle, but the gain for Joe McCall gives Pitt a 1st down at their own 43. Great block on White. This is a counter play, tailback counter. You see the fullback on now. Watch McCall. That's Freilich they're pulling. Watch him. Number 79 on Hamilton. I mean, that's a truck out there. They ought to put a license plate on that kid. No contest out in the open field. 1st and 10. Bailey behind Kingemi. They're in a slot left with McCall. This is Bailey, right tackle. He gets good yardage. 5 yards. He'll take that anytime on 1st down. Shane Conlon made the tackle. Without the 4, Bailey picks up 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to play. 3rd quarter. Penn State leading 21-10. Bailey now with 23 yards on 6 carries as Pitt continues to alternate fullbacks Bailey and Marlon McIntyre. Stennett comes out, wide right, a slot left.
Again, you see Kajemi changing plays at the line of scrimmage. Fullback, he's hit hard at the line of scrimmage, and McIntyre gets perhaps a yard out to the 49. It'll be 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Marlon McIntyre picking up one. Gattuso and Masciantonio on the tackle.
A lot of chess playing out there. That time Conlon, he shows double coverage on a wide receiver, comes back to the inside and blitzed, got in on attack.
So another 3rd down conversion attempt by Pitt. Completed. 4 out of 11. 3rd down and 4. McCall driving forward for the 1st down to the Penn State 45. Good blocking by the Pitt offensive line because it looked as though Penn State would have the opportunity to stack them up. But McCall picked up 5 yards when he needed 4, and Pitt has a 1st down. Radisic making the tackle.
That was a good call, Stan. Penn State kind of anticipated pass on that particular play. They gave it off to McCall, again, over Fraley.
Well, Foch Fazio doing what I thought he might, trying to settle his club down a little bit. They have marched from their own 20 to the Penn State 45, all on the ground, getting things back into perspective. 8:45 to play 3rd quarter. Now let's see if they open up now that they're in Penn State territory. Jimmy looking, throwing the home run ball. Wallace is open. Touchdown, Pitt. Bill Wallace beating Fruhan badly, and it's a 45-yard touchdown bomb from John Kajemi to Bill Wallace, their 2nd connection of the day.
Well, you wanted to know when they're going to open up. Now they faked it. Here's a little bootleg. Faked the counter. They got 1-1. Wallace against Fruhan. He beats him. The ball, again, a great throw by Kajemi was right there.
So whatever momentum Penn State gained on the Pitt fumble is taken right back by Pitt. Schubert to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Well, both teams scoring here in the 3rd quarter. Penn State's lead, which was 11, is now 4. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this. Inches. 3rd down and inches. And at Q16. Following the Pitt touchdown and extra point, Penn State has the ball, leading 21-17. And at Q17. Following the Pitt touchdown and extra point, Penn State is leading 21-17, and Pitt has the ball again. An 80-yard drive for the Pitt Panthers. Touchdown score, a 45-yard pass from Kajemi to Wallace, and it's a 21-17 football game. Pat Viancourt will kick to John Williams. At the top of your screen, Kevin Bow crouching at the bottom of your screen. They stand at the 5-yard line. Viancourt's kick is high, but relatively short. Bow will field it as 6. And he will not make it to the 20. He'll be hit and stopped at the 18-yard line. Let's take a look at that touchdown pass again.
You see that bootleg now. There's Wallace. Definitely got Fruhan beat. Look at the ball. It's going to come down. Don't worry about it, folks. Here it comes. Beautifully thrown football. Nice lead pass. Wallace takes it in for a 2nd score.
Jemmy having a great day at 15 out of 21. 2 touchdown passes, both to Wallace. So just as the momentum shifted to Penn State and Pitt took it and marched, the reverse is now true. Just shy of their 19-yard line. Penn State. Strang throwing on 1st down. He's throwing a home run ball. Jackson's open again. It is Kevin Bow. He drops it. Kevin Bow dropped it at the Pitt 28-yard line. Both receivers in the same area. That is the 2nd ball that Kevin Bow has dropped, and that one would have been good for about a 60-yard gain.
Well, they ran everybody deep. They ran Jackson deep, be the left of your screen. They ran Bow deep, and they ran the tight end deep, and they all ended up pretty much in the same area, which is not really good. Now, watch Bow to the left. He's got his man beat. Could not hang on to the ball.
Well, there's no excuse for that. He just flat out dropped it, and the ball was right there. 2nd and 10. Williams. Good yardage. I think he stepped out of bounds, however, back near the 25. No, they're going to rule him out of bounds near the 29, which would be very close to a Penn State first down. Melvin Dean shoved John Williams out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. Pitts drive, 80 yards, 9 plays. The bomb from Kangemi to Wallace. And it's going to be a Penn State first down, and that was, first of all, Penn State's longest run of the game, and probably their most important. It gets them a little breathing room and allows them to keep the football. So Williams picking up 10 yards. He's got 15 on the day in 3 carries. 1st and 10, Penn State outside their own 29. Again, in the single back offense, Dozier slot left. Williams cuts up the middle, finds running room, and gets across the 30 to the 34-yard line. John Williams picking up 5. Aldisert made the tackle, and there it is, George. Stuff with John Williams.
Well, when they put Dozier in the slot, Pitt's so concerned about him, there's still kind of a, defense in him. Not that the key is off a little bit, but they have to be concerned about them throwing the ball at Dozier and have him catch it in the open field. And Williams, the fullback, has made 2 good games in a row.
George Alpert in a wide receiver. It is 2nd down and 5, Penn State, their own 34. That's Alpert in motion to the far side. Dozier tries to get outside. He is just swarmed under at the 35. Perhaps he gets forward progress near the 36. We'll call it gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Atia and Benson and Aldisert all making the tackle. And undoubtedly, the Pitt defense is just standing in there and waiting for DJ Dozier to show up.
Well, they're determined he's not going to break one, but when they put Alpert in motion that time, across the field, he had single coverage on that particular play. Maybe they'll go back to that.
That statistic, of course, was before today, and really the defense did not allow the Penn State touchdown. 3rd and 4, big possession down. Strang rolling. He throws, got a man on the sideline, and it is caught by Bow at midfield for a first down. This time, Bow makes a great catch in traffic, and once again, Penn State converts on the 3rd down to keep possession. Tom Flynn shoved him out of bounds.
I don't know how he got that ball in there. It seemed to me he waited a little too long, but when he finally delivers the ball, Strang makes a super throw. He's got enough protection from his backs. Now watch Bow make this adjustment between 3 Pitt defenders. Great catch.
Well, that's really threading the needle in there. Bill Callahan really had a good chance to intercept it, but the ball was thrown over his head. The ball is spotted at the Pitt 49-yard line. So the 2 heavyweights throwing knockout punches at each other. Reverse. Kenny Jackson's going to lose yardage. Big yardage. Bob Bukowski, the sophomore defensive tackle, wasn't fooled, not even a little bit. And Penn State will lose big yardage back to their own 43-yard line.
Well, they were hoping to catch
And
Pitt.
a flag is down. Excuse me, George.
Well, Bukowski just made penetration. This was not his responsibility. He's just there. Jackson had no place to go.
Well, the penalty is against Pitt. Personal foul. Let's see, this may be one of those dead ball fouls, and the penalty may be marked off from where Jackson was tackled. The loss was all the way back to the 42, a loss of 9 yards.
That's a tough play to run against a penetrating defense, because if anybody on the far side penetrates, he becomes the contained man. He could throw that reverse man for a big loss.
We're still waiting for the officials to sort things out. It will be marked from the spot of the foul. It'll be 15 yards. However, will not give Penn State a first down. Here's the call by the referee.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense.
So the loss of 9 turns into a gain of 7. So when we come back, it'll be first down and 3, or will it be second down and 3? Should be second down. There we go. Now the scoreboard's got it correct. So it is second down and 3 yards to go. Williams, he's hit and falls forward to the 40-yard line for a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Chris Dolman, defensive end, a junior from York, Pennsylvania, making the tackle. The yardage on the ground does not come easily against the Pitt defense. It'll be 3rd and 1.
They have great lateral pursuit, and they're very disciplined on defense. They read their keys very, very well. Now, Williams made a good cut on this, almost broke it, but he's still shy of the 1st down.
Chris Dolman, he is a big character at 6'6" and 220. Another big 3rd down possession play, 3rd down and 1. Strang rolling. He's in trouble. He gets loose. He's still on his feet, and now he's going to be dropped. Strang, when he doubled back, wanted to run, but good contained by Bob Bukowski, who stayed at home as he is supposed to. And otherwise, had Bukowski not been there, Strang would have had not only a 1st down, but an awful lot more yardage.
But Stan, this is the making of a quarterback now. They wanted to hit, I think, a back slipping out in the flat, and then Wenglenkowski knocked off Williams. He couldn't get out in the flat. Now Strang here is in trouble, but he had enough poise not to panic, not to throw the ball away, just sit down and take the loss.
Reynolds will be looking for the sideline. Kicks it high, down the middle. Flynn calls fair catch. It bounces, and Penn State will down the ball inside the Pitt 10-yard line around the 8. So Reynolds accomplishes his mission, a punt of 35 yards. They're going to mark it near the 10. Let's call it a 33-yard punt, but it will put Pitt back in a hole, and Lance Hamilton made the coverage on the punt. So Penn State not able to convert on a 3rd down and 1. And reversing that, in Pitt's touchdown drive, they were able to convert on a 3rd down and 2. It ended up in a touchdown for them. 4:35 to play in the 3rd quarter. Penn State leading 21-17. Pitt starts out from their own 10. Fumble on the snap, and Kangemi got it back and falls forward, perhaps to the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you, he picks the wrong spots to fumble. I mean, that was it. Again, on the 10-yard line, they were fortunate. Penn State did not come up with the ball again.
Pitt has fumbled now 5 times. They've lost only 2. They have fumbled 4 times here in the 2nd half.
Stan, sometimes that fumble occurs when the center's blocking away. He pulls out at an angle in the quarterback's hands, and the ratio is not good.
It is 2nd down and 10. McCall finds a big hole. He's got a 1st down across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. Big blocking by the left side of the Pitt offensive line. Schefter finally made the tackle, but McCall picks up 12 yards and another Pitt 1st down.
Well, McCall made a great cut here. There's good contain. He couldn't get to the outside. Radisic was picked off. There's a block on him, but McCall made a great against-the-grain cut.
Well, Penn State has had Pitt backed up. They have managed to grind it out and get it out of there. 1st and 10 Pitt. McCall, he's hit in the backfield. He's going to be dropped for a big loss back at the 17-yard line. Eventually making the tackle is Radisic, but Conlon, Gattuso were the men who had the penetration and forced McCall out of his running pattern.
Oh, is that Conlon quick? Now Penn State's gone back to the type of defense they started the 2nd half with. Watch to the left of the screen. You see number 31, Shane Conlon. He's in there on McCall before McCall almost got the pitch. And Radisic and Gattuso finished him off.
Conlon playing a big game, a freshman from Frewsburg, New York. It is 2nd down and 15. So once again, the Pitt offense is hemmed in. The blitz in the flat to McCall, and he'll catch it. Run out of bounds around the 20-yard line. A gain of only 2. It'll bring up 3rd down and close to 13 yards to go for the 1st down. 2:45 to play in the 3rd quarter.
3rd down, 13.
So Kangemi has a big 3rd down conversion call. Pitt on 3rd down conversions, hitting on 4 of 11. At 37%. 3rd down, 13. Slot right with Joe McCall, number 34. Here comes the offside blitz. Kangemi's chased out of there. Hamilton's after him. Now he's got room to run. He throws. Caught by Clint Wilson for 1st down. No, make it Matt Stennett. Congemi scrambled out of trouble, and the Penn State defense, having Pitt at 3rd and 13, has them convert for a big gain of 20 yards and a first down.
Well, two things happened. He looked like Doug Flutie on that. Hamilton has him from the right of the screen. Does not keep him to his inside shoulder. He came in too shallow. Congemi felt the pressure, rolled out behind him. Too fast for Hines. Gets the ball to Stennett coming across. That was a great play. This is all Congemi. Individual effort by John Congemi. Big first down for Pitt.
First down and 10. Give off to the fullback. He's got running room, 4 yards. Bailey up to the 44-yard line. Congemi on the day, 17 out of 23, 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oh.
You know, a coach always tells a kid when you blitz and you're coming from the outside, keep the quarterback and the ball to the inside. Hamilton did not do it that time, and Congemi was able to get outside and contain and make the big play.
2nd and 6, Pitt at their own 44. 1:45 to play, 3rd quarter. Jeff Casper, number 88, comes in at a wide receiver for Pitt. The handoff, the tailback across the 15 into Penn State territory near the 49-yard line. Mike Zordich making the tackle on Bill Owens. He is a freshman from Syracuse, New York. He has not played much, but he has played well when he's given the opportunities. You see an average of better than 7 yards per carry. So Penn State allowing Pitt to get out of that big 3rd and 13 at their own 20. Now has the ball in Penn State territory at the 48. 1st and 10. Stennett comes out wide right. This time Pitt lines up in the eye. Owens cuts to the outside. He's to the 40, the 35, and down to the Penn State 32-yard line. Owens has come in, and he has picked up 24 yards in 2 plays. Sidnor and Radisic make the tackle. And Penn State beginning to get pushed around again. Pitt is on the march again.
Great offensive line blocking. Pitt's offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. Everybody's being driven back, allowing the ball carriers to make their moves upfield.
Pitt starting its own drive on their 10-yard line, down to the Penn State 32. McIntyre, he's got big running room, pounds down to the 27-yard line. When I say big running room, 5 yards a carry on first down is exactly what you want. Masci Antonio and Hamilton make the tackle. 35 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Greg Gattuso gets shaken up on the play. He is going to call for some medical attention. Looks to be his thigh. He has had a problem with a foot. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this.
Let's go!
Greg Gattuso walked off under his own power. Freshman Mike Russo comes in to take his place. As we resume, Pitt with a 2nd and 5 near their own 32, or rather the Penn State 27-yard line. Slot right, Stennett in the slot. Here's Owens, and we've got a flag on the play, and I think that was before the ball was ever snapped. That would be a motion on somebody. See what the call is.
I think it's again Pitt illegal procedure.
John Congemi sitting in on the discussion, eavesdropping just a bit. Here's the call by the referee. Dead ball foul, legal procedure called on Pitt, so that'll move the ball back 5. It'll be 2nd down and just about 10 yards to go. That is Greg Gattuso, and it does appear to be, looking at his left knee, his problem has been with a foot. And he's really been playing hurt for the last 3 weeks. Sat him out of practice most of the week. And before we get another playoff, we're going to come to the end of the 3rd quarter. Clock running again after the penalty call on Pitt. So 15 minutes of football remain. It has been an excellent football game here at Pitt Stadium this afternoon, and the decision will be rendered in the next 15 minutes. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this. Dan Savran and George Paterno live from Pitt Stadium. We are set to begin the 4th quarter of play. 15 minutes to go. George, you mentioned that there would be some adjustments made. Have you seen them, and how have they worked?
Well, Penn State certainly on defense made an adjustment. They're playing a lot more aggressively outside of the fact that there was a couple of missed tackles like Hamilton on that blitz. They had neutralized Pitt, but Pitt has made their adjustments, and they're coming back. It's a great game.
Second down, a little bit more than 10 yards to go. Pitt at the Penn State 32-yard line. And Jimmy, here's the blitz. He's in trouble. He's hit. And they're going to call it an incompleted pass. No, are they going to call it a fumble out of bounds? Let's wait for the call. And Jimmy was hit as it appeared he was trying to throw. And they're going to mark it back. They're going to mark it and call it a sack.
I was going to say, I don't see how you could call that a fumble, incompleted pass. Watch. His arm never goes forward, but he gets hit this time. They don't blow it. Again, Shane Conlon on the blitz. So he's got him before that arm goes past his eye, as they use as a point of reference.
To further illustrate the rule, it's not whether or not the quarterback has his arm up, it's whether or not his arm is starting in a throwing motion forward. It is third down and 23. This time Penn State must not allow Pitt to wriggle off the hook. It's a draw play to Owens. Room up the middle. He gets to the 40, still on his feet. Now he's dragged down. He fumbles, and Penn State is recovered at the 36-yard line. Shane Conlon forced the fumble. Scott Radisick recovered the fumble. Now Penn State would not have had to worry about a Pitt field goal attempt, but the punt could have put him inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Penn State was fortunate. Actually, Owens made a wrong cut. If he went to the outside, he had the first down. Now, he's a freshman. Watch it here. He had to cut to the outside. Nice, good call, though, by Coach Fazio. Good blocking, draw play. Dahl puts a great block on the outside linebacker. Conlon, I think, eventually makes a tackle, and he cuts to the inside. Conlon stripped him from behind. Radisick makes the recovery.
First and 10, Nittany Lions, their own 36-yard line. Draw play, Dozier making a couple of cuts. A flag is down. Dozier picks up 3 to the 39, but again, a flag is down. Caesar Aldesert, the junior linebacker from Mount Lebanon, makes the tackle. It's a gain of 3, but again, there was a flag thrown in the middle. It will go against Penn State for holding.
That's usually, the call on that particular situation. But I think Penn State will make a mistake if they try to sit on a 4-point lead and don't put the ball back in the air, which has been very successful for them.
We believe the call was against freshman Ron Rickens. Ed Boone, Ron Rickens made the call. He is our spotter. Something we don't have an opportunity to do a great deal is give credit to our support crew up here, and they're more than support. They hold us up is what it is. Ron Rickens, our spotter, Charlie Fisher, our statistician, and Councilman Ted Beam.
Holding,
That's right.
Run offense, first down, over.
Ted Beam, our associate director. They have helped us for the last 2 years. Scott Radisick, his second fumble recovered. Well, his third. He recovered the fumble at the 20. So it is first down. Long yardage. Strang wants to throw. He fires in the flat. He's got a man open. It is incomplete. The pass intended for Dean DeMidio, but the pass a bit too tall and actually thrown a bit late by Strang. It will go incomplete. It'll be second down and 19 yards to go for a first down.
Penn State has not used one screen pass, so they probably figuring that Pitt anticipated them using a lot of screens, which they do so well. But it seems like an opportune time to try one.
Penn State and Strang 9 out of 16 for 178 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Second and 19. Draw play. Dozier makes a spin move. He'll pick up about 4 out to the 29-yard line. Bill Moss made the tackle. And we've got some pushing and shoving going on in the middle of the offensive and defensive lines. And a flag is down. Way back downfield.
I think that could be on Troy Hill. I'm not sure. Nope.
Dead ball. Personal foul, White.
It's on Boz,
Dead
it's not
ball. Personal foul, Blue.
Troy Hill and Kevin Bow got into a pushing and shoving match along the near sideline, about 20 yards up from the line of scrimmage. The flag was thrown. The penalties negate each other. It will be third down and 15 yards to go.
I have to say I was half right before freshman Rickens gets on my back.
Penn State 2 out of 7 on third down conversions. They've got a lot of yardage to gain. It is third and 17 yards to go. Strang in the flat. Dozier's got it, and he drops it. The hit coming up. He was not able to hang on. And emotionally, when Penn State's defense has stopped Pitt, the offense has not been able to pick up the slack to get the momentum on their side. Well, they have had a chance to control this game emotionally and haven't done it.
The holding penalty, hurt them on that particular thing, but they have not tried the big play as they have had in the first half. We still have a long way to go.
Reynolds back at his own 32. Or rather, Wallace. That's Wallace there. Reynolds, of course, will punt. Pitt with 10 men at the line of scrimmage, and here they come. Reynolds gets away a rocket launch. Wallace takes it as 29, cuts upfield. He's hit hard and gets a 5-yard return out to the 34. But good field position for Pitt, as once again, Pitt will get a chance to take the lead. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this. Edit Q19. After Penn State recovered another Pitt fumble, the Lions couldn't move. They punted, and Pitt has the ball. 13:54 to play in this football game. Penn State clinging to a precarious 4-point lead. Pitt starts out after the Reynolds punt. The Panthers at their own 34-yard line, trailing by 4. McCall got a hole up the middle, and he grinds his way out near the 40-yard line. Mike Zordich and Harry Hamilton make the tackle, give McCall a gain of 6 yards. It'll be second down and 4 yards to go. McCall, the leading rusher in the game, he has 99 yards on 18 carries.
Again, they come to the side of Farrell. Like you see the tight end, number 80, blocked down, and McCall looks awfully quick today. Really pops up inside, makes a quick 6.
Second and 4, Pitt near their own 40-yard line. Ball again, first down. He got his feet across the 45 and out to the 47. So McCall picks up 8 yards. He now has 107 on the day. Radisic made the tackle, but again, Pitt is moving the football.
That's smart football. They came back with the exact same play. Again, the tight end Johnson, number 80, made a good block, and he jumps up inside. Watch it. Look at that hole right here. Good running.
So the Panthers, right out of the gate, 2 plays, both on the ground, both by McCall, and a first down. And Jemmy, short drop, nice flushed out. He's chased by Sefner, who's got him for a loss at the 44-yard line. Jemmy wanted to throw to the sideline, nobody open, and he had to eat it.
Well, they faked up inside. He was trying to hit Stennett coming across on single coverage, as they did before with Wallace for the touchdown against Fruin. I don't know if it was a wise call. They're dominating the line of scrimmage right now. Now watch the little fake. It's a little kind of a turnaround, a quick pop. They wanted to hit Stennett. Okay. Rolling, now he decides to run with the ball, and Pitt takes a loss.
And you'll notice that he almost fumbled the snap again. Here's McCall, right tackle, and this time not much running room. He gets out to the 41-yard line, a gain of 2. It'll be third down and 11. Radisic and Hamilton making the tackle. Greg Gattuso stacking things up in the middle. Look at the difference in first downs. Pitt with 27, Penn State with 9. Now, astounding.
This is the key, most important play of the game coming up right now.
Unquestionably. Third down and 11. Pitt is 5 out of 12 on third down conversions. Big play for both football teams. Here comes the blitz. And Jimmy throws deep on the sideline, looking, firing, and it is incomplete. Stenton almost had it. Sidnor on the coverage and got a tip on the ball. And this time, Chris Sidnor was right there with him.
He was belly to belly with him. That's good coverage. But the pressure of the blitz, he couldn't run. He could not allow Stenton to run deeper than he did to get under the ball. It was a good defensive play by Sidnor.
And we've got a Penn State player down on the field at about the 43-yard line of Pitt. Tony Recchia will come in and kick. Kenny Jackson and Kevin Bow will be back deep. We do have a Penn State player who was down on the field. 11:30 to play in the football game. We've got a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this. At Q20. After Penn State recovered another Pitt fumble, the teams have exchanged punts and Penn State has the ball. The injured Penn State player was Steve Sefter, but he walked off under his own power. Presumably we'll see him on Penn State's next defensive stand. Tony Recchia will be kicking to Kenny Jackson and Kevin Bow. They stand at their own 20-yard line. Recchia's kick is a good one. High and deep. Bow takes it his 4-yard line. Cuts upfield, got some room. The 20, outside the 20, a flag is down, however. Bow with a 17-yard return out to near the 22-yard line, but again, a flag is down. Bill Callahan, the starting strong safety, made the tackle on the punt return, but it will come back.
Well, that was a risky play, Stan. That ball would have gone into the end zone probably and come out to the 20. Kevin took a chance. Somebody on the far side made an illegal block.
Well, Penn State will start out very deep in their own territory, and the 15 yards field position that they're going to lose is going to be critical because with the ball spotted at the 6, they have a long way to go. Here's the call by the official.
On the return, push. Push out.
It's critical here, George, because now with 11:19 to play, the unit that has carried Penn State most of the year, the offense, is going to have to take command of this game if they expect to win. The Lions huddling in their own end zone. First down, 10 yards to go at their own 6-yard line. Penn State leading by 4 points, 21-17. Dozier and Williams. This is Williams, up the middle, drives hard and gets out to the 10-yard line. So Williams gets 4, and that's a good gain on first down. Bill Moss, number 71, made the tackle for the Panthers. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, as I said before, it's not the time to sit on a lead and be conservative. If Penn State could put together a couple of first downs now and even lose the ball and be stopped, they get a chance to kick the ball deep in Pitt's territory.
It's nervous time for the coaches, the players, and the 60,000 plus. 2nd and 6. Dozier on a wing right. Counter to Dozier. He's hit in the backfield. He's dropped for a loss. Back at the 6-yard line. Bill Moss got the penetration, and Tim Quentz came in to clean him up. The loss is back to the 7-yard line, a loss of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, they're making penetration. To run a delayed play is very difficult when you're getting a lot of penetration. You see that, Sus? Moss is in there. Quinn's number 94 is in there. Dozier just has no chance.
Dozier has 3 yards rushing on the day, and now Penn State finds themselves with a 3rd down and 9. Let's see if they try to throw it out of here. Strength of his end zone. He throws over the middle. It is incomplete, intended for Bow, and almost intercepted by Tom Flynn. That would have been a big 3rd down possession, but as it is, Penn State will have to punt out of their own end zone, and you can tell by the crowd whose side the momentum is on. Well, Pitt will be assured of good field position. Wallace stands at the Penn State 44-yard line. Reynolds averaging 44 yards a kick today. He will need a good one. He gets off a good one. Wallace back at his own 45. Doesn't get the block, and he is hit and hammered right then and there at his 44-yard line.
Stan,
Penn State's claiming that there was a fumble on the play, but evidently not.
Sorry, Stan. You'll never see better coverage than that. That was a crucial kick. He boomed it out of there, and without almost any return. Let's watch Wallace here watch the coverage here. Bang, bang, bang.
Stillman and Mike Suter.
And as you said before, Stillman is remarkable because he makes the snap.
A 49-yard punt, a 1-yard return. Well, Pitt starts out at their own 45. Schefter is back in the game. McCall scrambled at the line of scrimmage, but does fight forward for a couple across the 45 to the 47. Bob White, freshman defensive end, made the tackle, and Shane Conlon stacked things up at the line of scrimmage.
That's good defensive anticipation. Pitt has been making a lot of yardage on that. Stan, look at those stats.
It's unbelievable. DJ Dozier with 3 yards, and he's averaging about a 1/3 of a yard per carry. 2nd down, 8. McCall diving over the line of scrimmage, but Conlon is there. 2-yard gain, but again, a flag is thrown, and Pitt's offensive line was in motion. Let's see if Penn State wants to make it 3rd and 6 or 2nd and 13. I would imagine the latter. I would think Penn State would accept.
You see movement by 61 Dial, the right guard. Definitely an illegal position.
Dead ball, encroachment, offense, 2nd down, over.
2nd down, 13.
Offensive strategy being discussed on the Penn State sideline. As you look at the chalkboard, it is 2nd down and 13 yards to go. Slot to the right. Jemmy throwing to the flat, then it is overthrown and incomplete, intended on the far side for Matt Stennett. Harry Hamilton over there on coverage. That can be a very dangerous pass to throw.
Yes, but he had excellent pressure. He got rid of the ball a little quicker than he wanted to. He got good pressure from both ends, Conlon and Schefter.
Once again, it is just a crucial 3rd down conversion attempt for both the offense and defense. Pitt has been moderately successful, more than Penn State, of course. Pitt has completed 5 out of 14 3rd down conversions. It is long yardage. 3rd down, 13 yards to go. 8:45 to play in the football game. And Pitt is going to use one of its timeouts. They want to make sure they have the call they want on this critical 3rd down play.
3rd quarter, Ohio State.
There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 21, Pitt 17. We'll be back right after this. At Q21. The teams have exchanged punts after Penn State recovered a Pitt fumble. The Panthers have the ball again. At Q22. The teams have exchanged punts after Penn State recovered a Pitt fumble, and the Lions have the ball again. 8:45 to play, and once again, a critical third down play for both these football teams. Third down, 13. Pitt outside its 42-yard line. Jimmy. Rush throws wide open. It is caught for a first down at the Penn State 38-yard line. The pass received again by Bill Wallace. Mark Fruhan made the tackle, but the big 3rd and 13, and Pitt makes the conversion.
Well, of course, that's an awfully big play. They went to the short side of the field. You see Wallace just do it out. He got behind the undercover and in front of Fruhan. But Kangemi, give credit to Kangemi. He had to be a perfect throw.
Pitt makes the big third down play. They have it 1st and 10 at the Penn State 38. And now everybody's running around. Flags are covering the field like a tarpaulin. Mike Durando, the left guard, is probably the guilty party, shooting offside. You can tell by Kangemi's reaction that indeed it will go against the Pitt Panthers. Bill Wallace just having a magnificent game. 8 catches, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The quarterback, Strang, 9 out of 18, 178 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Kenny Jackson. Kangemi, 18 out of 26, 237 yards for 2 touchdowns, both to Bill Wallace. So it's been the Wallace and Jackson show offensively. So it is 1st down and 15 after the call of encroachment against Pitt. They're at the Penn State 43. Inside to the fullback and gaining yards inside the 40. The 39-yard line is Mark Bailey. Give him a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 11. Bob White making the tackle.
Number 34, Bob White.
This game is really teeter-tottered back and forth in the second half. Momentum going to each side. Both teams really having an opportunity to really take command. Neither team has been able to do it. 2nd and 11. McCall looking outside, gets outside, inside the 35 and down to the 32-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 3. Chris Sidnor makes the tackle. Something Penn State didn't want to do is give up 8 yards on 2nd down.
Well, this is just that kind of that sweep type of thing. You can take it inside, outside. Penn State doesn't play it too badly this time. Hamilton comes up, doesn't really make the tackle, but he forces him back inside to the pack, keeping him from making a 1st down. Again, big play.
Guess what? It's 3rd down. Just shy of 4 yards to go for the 1st down. Pitt is 6 out of 15 in 3rd down conversions. McCall hit and dropped near the 30-yard line. He will be short of that 1st down. It'll be 4th down and about a yard to go. Radisic and Masciantonio. Now, what does Pitt do? I would imagine, George, they go for it here.
Well, being that Schubert is not a long distance type of field goal kicker, 3 only makes it 21-20. They have to come back and make another score. I'm sure they're going to go for it. They blitzed Masciantonio that time, and he made the tackle, preventing the 1st down.
4th down. A yard to go. 6 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the game. Penn State leading 21-17. McCall driving, and it's going to be close.
Well, Penn State saying no, but from here, it's awfully close. McCall tried to make a quick cutback to the inside. I don't know if he got the ball up front. I think they got stopped him.
Penn State is pointing as if no, he did not make it based on where the ball was spotted. He had to get to about the 28.5-yard line, which is very close to where he's at right now.
Well, Stan, when he made the cutback, he turned his body sideways, putting the ball on the far arm, which was actually into the backfield a little bit, and that could be the difference.
Here's the key measurement of the football game. Penn State is held. McCall did not make it. He was short by a bit less than a foot.
And Stan, that was because he turned a little to his side.
Fruhan and Radisic stopped him short.
Let's watch McCall make the cut back. Now watch him here. He turns a little to the side here. You see that? Now see where the ball is? That put the ball behind the 1st down marker.
Mark Fruhan pushed him back. And Penn State's defense really has been hanging on doggedly. They have given the offense a chance to take control. Now the offense must do it. 1st and 10 at the 29. Williams across the 30, still on his feet. 35, he's got a first down, knocked out of bounds. What should be good for a Penn State first down.
You know, Stan, we said it before the show, in the tough games, Jonathan Williams plays his best and makes a big play. He just did it there again.
He was stopped for a 2-yard gain. He kept his feet and got Penn State a much-needed first down.
Let's watch second effort. That was Dolman, 6'6", who hit him. They didn't put him down. Let up. He could have broken this. That was Callahan come over and put him out of bounds.
And he also wriggled out of the grasp of Troy Benson. 12-yard gain, first down and 10. Penn State, their own 41-yard line. Williams again, up the middle, and Alderson is there to meet him after a yard gain. Caesar Alderson filled what was a hole quickly. It's a gain of 1. That'll be second down and 9 yards to go. The clock running at 6:10 to play.
When they're in that formation, Penn State has a quick out. Now, what they're doing, they got the single back formation. The linebackers are keying on a deep back and just keying him all over the field.
Second down, 9 yards to go. The clock runs under 6 minutes to play. Penn State must string together some first down. 2nd and 9. Strang, he's in trouble. He breaks loose. He's still on his feet. Now Moss has him. He's going to be dropped all the way back at the 35-yard line. Once again, Strang beat 2 potential tacklers, but he could not beat the 3rd. And it'll be most difficult now for Penn State to get a first down. They need it so desperately.
This is just great pressure here by the Pitt defense. Now, Attia, number 40, comes off the nose guard. Strang gets away from him, but Moss keeps coming. That's why he's an All-American. Put Strang down.
Wentz had the second shot. And you're right, George. Penn State really has not tried to screen to combat that pressure. 3rd down and 17. Strang chased again. Here's the screen, and it's not going anywhere. Dozier still on his feet, 35, and he's wrestled down at the 37-yard line. Dennis Attia, nose guard, moving laterally to knock Dozier down. The pass was complete. It gains about 5 yards, but it will force Penn State to punt once again. And once again, the Pitt defense holds Penn State. It has been a defensive battle. And now, Pitt will call on its ace punt returner, Tom Flynn. Foch Fazio had said he would use Flynn to return punts, who has bruised ribs, in crucial situations. With 4:47 to play in the game, obviously this qualifies as a crucial situation.
Well, that's putting an awful lot of pressure on one individual to come back. He hasn't fielded a punt all day. Now at the most crucial part of the game, they're asking him to make a big play.
Caesar Alderson shaking up a bit on the play, and he's looking okay. George Reynolds once again will be called upon to get off one of those rocket launches. Both defenses have given their respective offenses opportunities. So far, it has been a standoff. 4th down, 14. Reynolds will face the 10 men at the Pitt line, on the line of scrimmage. Here comes the rush. Flag down. Reynolds really gets it up in the air. Flynn calls fair catch and takes at the 18-yard line, but there's a flag down, and Conlon, Shane Conlon, moved on the play and most likely will force Penn State to punt once again. Yep. And of course, Pitt will take the penalty because that was a great punt by George Reynolds. Pitt would have had to take it at their own 18-yard line or thereabouts, but the play was really stopped as Reynolds kicked the ball. So it'll be 4th down all over again. It does give Pitt an extra 5 yards. This time the line of scrimmage at 32.
You know, Joe knows that Pitt needs a touchdown to win. The last series of offensive downs are a little conservative. To call a screen on 3rd and long, you know, the defense possibly could anticipate, but he's putting his faith in his defense.
Reynolds having a big day. Gets it away, and this one is even deeper than the other. Flynn takes it to 16. Cuts up the middle. He's hit, then he's dropped at the 26-yard line, 27-yard line. So it's an 11-yard return, and a 52-yard kick by George Reynolds. A 52-yard kick, an 11-yard return, a net of 41. And Pitt has it at their own 27-yard line. 4:35 to play in the football game. Tommy Flynn, All-American safety, normally the punt returner, averaging 8.9, but he's had bruised ribs and hasn't done that for the last couple of weeks. McCall tripped up the line of scrimmage, but keeps his feet and makes a very nice run out to the 33-yard line. So McCall turns a 1-yard gain into a 6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 4. Bob White made the first hit. Greg Gattuso cleaned him up. Casper, wide to the right. Pitt hurriedly out of the huddle. Fullback Bailey hit at the line of scrimmage, keeps his feet. He's got a first down outside the 40 near the 41-yard line. So good second effort by Pitt's backs. Penn State making contact at the line of scrimmage, but Bailey driving forward and is finally brought down by Mike Zordich, who has been rather quiet today. Under 4 minutes to play. The ball right around the 40-yard line. Clock runs. See that Penn State is able to make contact at the line of scrimmage, but Bailey turns 7 yards into what could have been no gain. McIntyre over right guard. He gets a couple out to the 42-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8 yards to go, and Pitt wants to run their huddle as quickly as possible. And presumably a turnover here, or if Penn State is able to force Pitt to punt, it could conceivably be Pitt's last opportunity. 3 minutes and 18 seconds to play. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. McCall outside, he spins away, and he gets out to the 45-yard line. Again, it could have been no gain. He picks up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 5 as the clock goes under 3 minutes to play. Today's attendance, 60,283. Joe McCall, the leading rusher in today's game. In case you were wondering where George Paterno went, he is going down to the Penn State locker room. We will have interviews after the game is over. Here it is, 3rd down and 5. McCall cutting upfield. He's got the first down. Again, Penn State with an opportunity. And again, McCall with a good run picks up 6. He needed 5. It's a first down Pitt at the Penn State 49. Mike Zordich made the tackle. Penn State's getting the penetration, but they are not able to wrap up the Pitt running backs. And look at the day that Joe McCall has had. 135 yards, 27 carries. And you will see Penn State forcing McCall to make the cut, but he does. That's a sign of a very good back who can make the cut inside in traffic. The clock running. 2:20 to play. 1st and 10 Pitt at the Penn State 49. Jemmy in the flat, and it is caught out in the flat by Casper. He is knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 7. It stops the clock. 2:12 to play. It'll be 2nd and 3. Mark Fruhan made the tackle for Penn State. So Pitt, knowing that they have an awful lot of time in the football game, plus their 3 timeouts, marching for what would be a winning touchdown. Correction, 2 timeouts. Jemmy has passed for 244 yards. 2nd down, 3 yards to go. This is McCall. He's hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Greg Gattuso getting the penetration and knocking McCall for virtually no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 3. And this game, as football is oftentimes, this game has been a series of 3rd down conversions. Of course, Pitt would go for it on 4th down. 1 minute, 45 seconds to play in the football game. You see the clock. Jemmy in the flat, got his man. Breaking loose is Wallace. 30. 25, he's finally down to the 22-yard line. Penn State missing tackles in the secondary. Nasciantonio finally brought Wallace down with help from Fruhan, but it's a big first down and a 3rd down and 3. All it was designed to do is pick up a first down. And very poor tackling by Fruhan, enabled Wallace to pick up another 15 yards. 1st and 10 at the 22. Jemmy flushed out, throwing in the end zone. Wallace is open. Touchdown, Pitt. Bill Wallace making a magnificent catch for the touchdown. 22 yards, and Pitt has taken the lead with 1:15 to play. Wallace made a fantastic catch in the corner of the end zone. Penn State, 1-on-1 coverage, not able to get to Kangemi. The throw is there, but it's really Wallace's catch that makes the difference. You see him get the 1 foot down, he beat Fruhan, and now the extra point to be attempted by Eric Schubert, and Penn State will have only 1:15 to come back. And against Pitt's defense, that may not be enough. Kick is up, kick is good. John Kangemi throwing his 3rd touchdown pass of the game to Wallace. We have a timeout in the action. The score, Pitt 24, Penn State 21. We'll be back right after this. He's a cornerback. Etiquette 23. After Penn State held Pitt on 4th down, the Lions could not move. They punted and Pitt has the ball. Etiquette 24. After Pitt took the lead 24-21, Penn State has the ball. Marching 73 yards, what could be the winning touchdown. A pass from Kangemi to Wallace, and when there are 1 minute and 15 seconds for Penn State to do something about it, Wallace undoubtedly the player of the game. 10 catches, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Lioncourt will kick. Bow will take 2 yards deep. Penn State needs a return. They won't get it this time. Bow can only get out to near the 17-yard line. And now with 1:10 to play, Penn State down 3. Will have to get some protection. The real key here in the second half is the Pitt pass rush. When they have not been able to sack Doug Strang, they have certainly destroyed whatever patterns they had run. Penn State has all their timeouts remaining. They are 86 yards away, 84 yards. Strang, screen to Williams. Needs a block, gets outside, 25, 30, 35, 40. He is run out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Dean and Flynn ran him out of bounds, and that time Pitt was dropping back 7 people in coverage, only rushing 4. The gain is from the 16. Let's see where they spotted. Out near the 37-yard line, a gain of 21. He got out of bounds, so that stopped the clock. You see John Williams, he needs to get to the outside, he knows that. Bow tries to get a block on Dean, can't quite get there. No 1st and 10 with 37. Strang throwing to the sideline, Jackson's wide open. He's got it in midfield, and he runs out of bounds near the midfield mark. It will be a Penn State 1st down near midfield. And Jackson, of course, ran out of bounds. It only took 5 seconds, 55 seconds to play. And again, Pitt playing a prevent. Jackson was wide open. Penn State with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The ball at the Penn State 49-yard line. 1st down, 10 yards to go, 55 seconds to play. Draw play, Williams, 40, 35, and down to the Pitt 33-yard line. John Williams on a 17-yard gain on the draw. Brian Shields, a 3rd linebacker, makes the tackle, and Penn State will use 1 of their 3 timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining. A great cross-up call by the Penn State offensive coaches, Joe Paterno, Dick Anderson, expecting pass. They give Williams the ball on the draw. He picks up 17 and a 1st down at the Pitt 34-yard line. Good blocking inside as Winkowski is taken to the outside, and Williams had plenty of room to run. DJ Dozier out in front throwing a key block, enabling Williams to get an extra 5 yards. So now Penn State at the 34-yard line. If you're thinking field goal, of course, Gancitano is capable. I doubt, however, that Penn State is thinking field goal. Joe Paterno has never been one to go for a tie, although one wonders if he has no option, if indeed he would not take it, depending on field position. But indeed, at the 34-yard line, with 47 seconds to play and 2 timeouts, there's more than enough time to maneuver for a touchdown. The key now, of course, is for the Penn State offensive line to be able to protect Doug Strang. And I would expect that Pitt will drop out of that prevent defense and attempt to get pressure on Doug Strang. You always hear the questions about the prevent. Here we go. 47 seconds to play. 1st and 10 at the Pitt 34. Flag down. Pitt was in motion. Penn State was in motion. Pass complete to DeMidio. He'll gain 9, but again, I think that the Penn State offensive tackle, it may have been Morgan, I think it was Morgan, was in motion on the play. That will cost Penn State 8 seconds on the clock. It'll cost them 5 yards. Here's the call. Well, more important really than the 5 yards is the 8 seconds. 39 seconds to play. And of course, what will happen here is the clock will start again. So Penn State should be calling their play in the huddle and get to the line of scrimmage, which they're going to do. Skeeter Nichols comes into the game. Indeed, Penn State is at the line. It's 1st and 15, 39 seconds. Strang, looking. He's going to run, he's going to be hit, and he's dropped. Back at his 47-yard line, Dennis Attia got him. Penn State will call timeout. That's the one thing that could kill Penn State, to at the very least knock them out of field goal range. And you can see the motion penalty would have been 2nd down and a yard to go. Strang actually had time. You see him with a lot of time to survey the field. Now here comes the rush. And Attia makes a great defensive play on all fours to knock him down. The loss is all the way back to the 46. It'll be 3rd down. Make it 2nd down and 22. Watch the Pitt's reaction on the bench once they see that Attia has Strang by the ankles. Second down, 22. 29 seconds to play. Penn State has 1 timeout remaining. Now, at the very least, they've got to pick up 15 yards to even have a chance at a field goal. Strang looking, throwing over the middle of Dozier. Tries to get outside to the 40. And that will never be enough even to attempt a field goal. The gain is only 6. Nobody was open downfield. It'll be 3rd down. 16 yards to go for a 1st down. Remember, that was 2nd down, so Penn State still has 1 offensive play to run, and they must pick up 10 yards to even attempt a field goal, but I'm sure Penn State is thinking touchdown. 21 seconds to play in the football game. Pitt leading 24-21. They scored a touchdown with 1:15 to play in the football game. This could be the football game. Penn State's offensive line must protect. Flag down. Strang, whistle, no play. Now the question is, will Penn State get the time back on the clock? I'm not sure what it is. It's a dead ball foul. The clock never should have started. There should be 21 seconds. And I'm sure that mention will be made. Let's see what the call is going to be here. Offside, Penn State. They certainly are not doing themselves any favors. Now, the question is, if it indeed isn't a dead ball foul, because the play was whistled down in the middle, if the play is allowed to be completed, of course, you cannot have the time back. But since they said that the play was going to be stopped in the middle of the play, it seems to me that the 8 seconds ought to be put back on the clock. Now there's going to be a conference. Will it cost Penn State the down? Well, it's dead ball. It can't. But the question is, should the 8 seconds be back on the clock? Here's the call. Now, the officials are conferring. And also, will they start the clock once the ball's spotted for play, or will they wait till the snap? Again, now, since the play was waved off in the middle, it was not allowed to be completed. All right, they're having a... They may want to reset that clock. Now, whether it's the 25-second play clock or the game clock, I'm not so sure the officials have decided among themselves. So far, we've not seen any argument from Joe Paterno. Now the explanation coming. That tells the story right there. Certainly an explanation on the field mic to both you, the television viewing audience, and the 60,000 plus here at Pitt Stadium would be in order. In any event, it'll be 3rd down and 21. And Pitt dropping deep back in pass coverage the last 2 downs. Penn State, of course, wants to throw the ball down the field, but there just hadn't been anybody open. Skeeter Nichols comes into the game for Penn State, and apparently the clock is going to stay at 13. Perhaps the discussion is that the clock will not start until the ball snapped, as opposed to after a penalty in college football on a non-incompleted pass, or somebody didn't run out of bounds. The clock is started once the ball is set for play. The ball's on the 45-yard line, and the clock will stay at 13 seconds. Penn State does have 1 timeout left. And we're still having a delay. And at this point, I'm not sure why. Is it possible they cannot reset the clock and they're going to keep the rest of it on the field? Well, the clock will not start. The ball is signaled for play. The 25-second clock will start. 13 seconds to play. Penn State has 1 timeout left. It is 3rd down and 21. And Penn State will have to look very deep. They'll need time to throw. Strang looking, throwing deep in the sideline is caught by Dozier. And he's out of bounds at the 19-yard line. 6 seconds to play. Now, does Penn State dare try to run a play? Strang, the ball is tipped by a Pitt defender, and Dozier's there on the sideline to catch it. You see it's a good catch, stays in bounds and falls out of bounds. Melvin Dean almost had the interception. And it's a Penn State 1st down at the Pitt 19. 6 seconds to play. Penn State does have a timeout. Now, whatever Doug Strang does here, the ball's with 19. Whatever Doug Strang does here, he must make sure that the play is completed in no more than 5 seconds. They want to have a chance for a field goal. Counter, Dozier. He's hit. Timeout will be called with 1 second. No, they let the clock run out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Penn State call timeout? Did Penn State call timeout? The referee said yes, they did. There should be 1 second left in the football game. And the crowd will have to be cleared from the field. Or did they not? All right, the official, the referee, is getting him off the field. Dozier on the counter, and referee William McDonald is waving people off the field. There you see the signal. I thought that he had called timeout with 2 seconds to go. The clock ran out, but there will be one more play in this football game. And it may also be pointed out, it is entirely possible that the clock, since it was not recycled, may be kept on the field. Here's the play. And what we're trying to get at here is it's entirely possible that there is more time than we anticipate. Now, it certainly would aid crowd control a great deal if an announcement were made to the crowd. Now the question is, will Penn State go for the win or go for the tie? I don't see Nick Gancitano anywhere. Now Gancitano's in the football game. He will attempt a 32-yard field goal to tie the football game. The line of scrimmage is the 15. Beware of a fake now. Pitt wants to call timeout. Pitt will use a timeout and force Gancitano to think about it. Nick Gancitano has not attempted a field goal today. He is 16 out of 20 on the season. Gancitano, and it's also important to point out that the normal holder has been Tim Parker, the freshman quarterback. On this play, Doug Strang will be the quarterback. Now you can let that sink in and take it for what it's worth. I'm sure that if Penn State were inside the 10-yard line, I have a feeling that Joe Paterno would go for the win. At the 15, could be a different story. There's always the chance for the fake. Let's watch a replay of that timeout, and with a clock inset in your picture. Dozier is down. He calls time. And did the referee get it time? But again, the thing we don't know is the official time being kept on the field. Joe Paterno looks like he's enjoying himself. Well, so is everybody else. He may be a lot calmer than a lot of people. Nick Gancitano, the junior from Coral Springs, Florida. Penn State, keep in mind the possibility of a fake. If they go through with it, it would be a 32-yard field goal, the last play of the football game. The ball's down, kick is up, it is long enough, and it is good! For only the fourth time in 83 years, the Pitt-Penn State game has ended in a tie. Perhaps to the dissatisfaction of the Pitt fans, but considering they started at their own 16-yard line in the last second drive with a minute and 10 to play, certainly to the satisfaction of Penn State and their fans. A tie, 24-24. That's the end of the football game. The final score, Penn State 24 and Pitt 24. We'll be back right after this. There was no further scoring, and the game ended with the score, Penn State 24, Pitt 24. We'll be back right after this. The 83rd meeting between Penn State and Pitt has come to an end, and for only the fourth time it ends in a tie. Penn State 24 and Pitt 24. It was 60 minutes of football. Not once during those 60 minutes, George, did the level of intensity drop, not even one iota.
I haven't seen such head knocking in a long time. They say a tie is like kissing your sister, but even though I felt that Pitt played an outstanding offensive game, better than Penn State did, and Penn State thought they were capable of, I don't blame Joe for going for the field goal, because there comes one time when your kids put out so much, and there's a carryover into next year. You don't want them to leave as a loser, and that's why he went for the field goal.
And Penn State played so hard and did show an awful lot of gumption in driving from their own 16 to get the tying field goal. You want to go away feeling that you have gotten something. Penn State indeed did on Gansitano's field goal, a 24-24 tie. That's it for Penn State football. For my partner George Paterno and everyone at TCS, this is Stan Savran saying thank you for watching. And until next time, so long, everybody.